Option C. Twin option C. Force seal. Option C. Option. Option. Speed up. Option. Up missile. Up ripple laser. Laser. Speed up. Upwind laser. Option C. Speed up. Option.
Main phase.
Hello, and welcome to another part of May's multi-stream, multi-system, multi-everything May, which is just lots of multis. I'm going to do some more shooters this time, so this is the second instalment in the shooter part of multi-system May, where, you know, I've picked a bunch of shooters from home systems and arcade systems, and I'll play a few on each, and we can have a little chat about them, see if there's any shooters that maybe should have been in the arcades or should have got home ports that didn't, that type of thing. So that's where I'm going with this one. And I see there's a few people in the chat already. Bob's there at least, so he's telling me that it's Guyanese Independence Day and wishing me a happy one. So happy Guyanese Independence Day to you too, Bob, and thank you for being here. Right, so I'm actually trying something a bit different this time. I scheduled the stream, which appears to give me an auto stop option in YouTube, which I can turn off. So if my internet drops out again, which it's been doing a bit lately, hopefully YouTube won't just go, that's it, the stream's over. So we'll see. And hey, the ogre, didn't they just have one last year? Yeah, they have them quite frequently. Also, before we kick things off, I do have to say a big thank you to MAME Fan for a donation he made outside of the streaming. He actually decided he was going to send £156.75 via PayPal, which is, again, a huge donation and greatly appreciated. I mean, you know, I couldn't ask that amount for what I'm doing, but he put a very kind message there, you know, about thanking me for the continued work over the years on MAME. So again, MAME Fan, it's really appreciated. And if you've not found MAME Fan on YouTube, Just, you know, look him up by name, MAME fan, with a dash in the middle, and you'll find his YouTube page where he's got more followers than this page, and he's got loads of really good content, playthroughs of games with full marquees and everything, and, you know, really good stuff. So thank you, MAME fan, for the big donation there, and I, you don't get fancy pop on the stream because it was PayPal, but I'm just thanking you at the start of this one. So anyway, on with the stream. I'm going to start with Konami's Salamander II, which is a game on Konami JAKKS hardware. So let me just turn the volume back up. That there should do it. And change my own view. I've got my mouse pointer. There we go. Don't know where the chat is. Twitch chat. Not Twitch chat. Refresh cache of current page. There we go. Now the chat works. So it's called Twitch chat still, but it's actually YouTube chat. Because, you know, OBS and naming. Right. So let's full screen this. And let's try and full screen it. Let's wonder why my keyboard's not working over there. What's going on here? Let's close it and restart it because my keyboard decided it wasn't going to work. Okay, there we go. There we go. So, hey Costado, hey GP, hey Mo, hey Mass Ninja, and hey Aussie Guy. Thank you all for being here. I hope you're all doing well. And as I said, this is Konami's Salamander II. Now, at some point in MAME, the bug in the attract mode where the ship doesn't move around was actually fixed. I don't know exactly when, can't remember exactly when. I think it might have been a few years ago now. But for a while, the ship in attract mode here did not move. And now it does. So, obviously this is sort of part of the whole Gradius series, Salamander, all that lot. So this is Salamander 2. And it's got lots of nice blending effects. And it plays like you'd expect a Konami shooter to play. Which means if you don't look at the screen, you die. I think that shoots in general. Okay, this is going well. Bit rusty. So, has anybody been up to much? Played any games? Done much? You know, I mean, obviously this was a bad start, but I'll get into the swing of things here. But look at all the nice blending. The GX hardware, it kind of reminds me of a SNES and some of the video capabilities. It's lower resolution most of the time. Although it does have a high resolution mode, I think. But most of the games run in sort of a SNES type resolution. But it's got lots of blending, which, you know, growing up I was associate more with the SNES because the Mega Drive couldn't do it. Oh, and we've got a subscriber. We've got Gosun Kugi. Thank you for subscribing. If you're here, feel free to say hello. And hope you're doing well too. Yeah, I'm just testing that the collision detection is emulated. That's correct. That's entirely correct. I mean, you know, that is a problem in some Konami games. They do protect the collision sometimes. So just want to make sure it's all fit. Actually, do they protect the collisions in this one? I don't actually know. They might do. I think it was mainly sprites. I picked up a speed up and sped up into the wall. Well done me. Now this does mix things up a little bit because it's got horizontal and vertical stages. So if you don't mind me credit feeding it a little bit, we'll probably get to a vertical stage in a bit. Oh, and yeah, you get that comical moment there where the boss gets eaten by a bigger boss. That is one of the memorable sort of cutscenes people think of when they think of this game. And Gradius 5, I've not really played much of Gradius 5. No. So, yeah. I guess Konami, I mean, it's a fairly standard idea, isn't it? An asteroid field and a shooter. There have been games before. I mean, Moon Shuttle is just a game that is entirely an asteroid field. So you get tappy on the keyboard with this one. Very organic look to these games, these Salamander games. And, yeah, that's the general theme, isn't it? Big wormy thing, lots of intestine-like things at the side. And it goes boom. Hey Christian, thank you for joining. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, a lot of the Konami GX games have visual problems, Master Ninja, unfortunately. I think they'll be rewritten eventually, but it's a complex system that's not seen that much attention in a while. But they still play quite well. I mean, I think maybe in some of the Parodius games they are a bit annoying, they block your view. But I'm not sure, I've not played them in a while. Here we go, here is one of the vertically scrolling stages. And there's not many shoot-em-ups that mix things up like this. I mean, I think it's... Is it Terror Force also does similar with overground and underground stages, swapping the orientation. But it's not a common thing. I mean, Metal Slug does too, Metal Slug 3, but that's not really a shooter, that's a run and gun. And hey Aaron, thank you for joining too. It's good to see everybody here. And like I said, do you think it's a good idea if I do schedule these things in advance? I mean, I think it might help with the dropout. Oh dear. Dropouts, but I don't really want to be, you know, annoying people by having them crop up before they're actually live. Because sometimes you see that people schedule the stream for a week in advance and it will just keep popping up in your notifications, and it's kind of I don't really want to be spammed like that, so I don't want to be spamming people like that. It's MAME Day 2. It's no release yet. Yeah, I mean, Vast did say there might be a bit of a delay on the release because some of the metadata on the software lists wasn't quite up to scratch. Although, looking at the build folder in the current MAME, the what's new looks like it might be finalised, so it might be MAME Day later. We'll see, we'll see. If not, I anticipate it being one of the next few days. Oh yeah, I do have that attack too that I've not been using. You know, it really helps to use the attack you have available to you. Option, option, options, option, options, option. Yeah, you fire off your options basically, which you know, is quite a good idea. It's a shooter, and you're always right, GP. I mean, Metal Slug 3 does have literal shooter sections where you're controlling an aircraft and you're shooting things. No question about it. Contra's more of a walk and run. Contra's very slow paced. But yeah, we've got more blending effects here, more death. I mean, I'm fitting the theme of the level, okay? There's lots of death and gooey, horrible stuff, and I'm just adding to all that matter by dying. I know I'm made of metal, but that's not the point. You know, I'm adding to the... I'm trying to charge down gates this time. Doesn't really work, does it? But yes, this is definitely one to check out. I mean, I think a lot of people are aware of the Salamander series. It's, you know, it's a famous Konami game, and it is one that's in that all killer list. So it's one people have got, even if they're filtered by that. I'm clearly not built for playing these games. I mean, GP will tell you I was built to be a model, not play games. Maybe. Just... Ooh. Oh. Oh, happy birthday, Christian. I hope it's been a good one for you, and you know, don't let the years feel too many. Does that make sense? You know, I definitely have failed to one credit clear Salamander 2. You see, what I'm going for is a theory that everybody's internal credit counter is only 8-bit, and once I reach like 255 credits, I'll have overflowed your credit counter, and you'll think I've completed it on 1 credit. Maybe. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? Now, these games kind of do remind me a bit of R-Type too. I think it's just because the horizontal stages, the symmetry on some of the bosses. I mean, look here, you've got top-bottom symmetry, and that's kind of R-Type-y to me. But R-Type is obviously IRM. Where are you, annoying little thing? Oh, good. Space gynecologist. Yes, Mo. Yes, that's my strategy, Aaron, and I'm sticking with it. But this is a really pretty game, actually. I mean, I do love this purple planet background here. And the music again, it's top quality Konami stuff. So yeah, you made it quite early, Aaron. In fact, I mean, I started quite late. I've spent most of the day napping. I think I've just been a bit tired today. So this is not the best prepared stream in the world. I wrote down a bunch of games I want to play, and we'll see if I get to play them. But this was one of them. This is the one I thought I'd start with because, yeah, I want to start with something that looks nice and not some old, really bad game that I might come to in a bit. I don't know. We'll see. You know what the quality's like on these streams. It's not just my quality of play that's awful. I purposely pick some games that are often quite bad because, to be honest, I like playing bad games and studying bad games. Just because that's who I am. Wow, graphic. Much colour. Many beams of laser. Much slowness of ship. No useful weapon. Big battleship. Approaching. Warning. That's a different game. I might play one of those games in a bit. I don't know. They weren't actually on my list, the Darius games. Darius and Gradius are very similar titles. I'm surprised nobody complained. I mean, you could have Darius Guiding could be Darius Gradius. Oh, Mo's comment. Mo's. Let's get some speed ups. Let's fail to. So, how many credits am I on? I reckon about 30. I've only got another 200 and something to go. Shoot the core. I'm trying to shoot the core. It doesn't want to be shot, okay? Oh, well, now it's got a big giant arm. I do like shooters that have enemies that use multiple sprites like this to form arms and the like. I mean, as I've said before, I actually really like the Mega Drive game Balls that nobody likes because of a similar thing. You've just got sprites that are made up of, well, enemies that are made up of lots of sprites, so they're not really restrained to your typical size on the screen. They're quite dynamic. It's just a good look. At least to me, although, you know, I should probably avoid these arms. Actually shoot the core. Problem is I'm really slow. I'm in the wrong segment to shoot anything right now. This isn't useful, is it? There we go. Now I can actually shoot things. I can try to. Well, I think it just decided. It did the pity explosion. The boss from the second level of the first Salamander. Yeah, I think they probably just like to reference their old things, don't they? And you know, if it's part of the same world, part of the same lore, I'm sure the boss can come back to life and decide it doesn't like anybody and wants a second chance at killing everybody. But here we go, the nice asteroid field with some really nice pre-rendered asteroids. Kind of Super Stardust-like, isn't it? Though Super Stardust was all very obviously pre-rendered. If anybody played that on the Amiga, that was quite a cool asteroids knockoff. But yeah, probably play a little bit more of this one. I mean, it's still fairly early in the stream. I know I've credit fed a lot of this, but it goes by quite quickly. Why build one when you can build two or more? Maybe one was a prototype. Who knows? I mean, I've never been a big fan of things having to make sense in arcade games. I mean, I know you get people who are really obsessed with the story in Street Fighter games and the like, but to me they're just fighting games. And if you've got a cool idea, put it in there. Got a boss you really like, reuse it. If you can draw it better, make it better. Make it do something new. If it was the most fun part of another game, why not? So, yeah. They definitely don't want me to stay alive, do they? The enemy here seems pretty intent on killing me off, even after I've already demonstrated I'm not really a major threat. I just have a lot of money, as in credits. That is the only advantage I have over the enemy, is a pocket full of credits. Yeah, arcade games are arcade for a reason. Kazblocks. And also welcome Kazblocks. I hope you're doing well. I think new face around here. I don't remember seeing your name before, but welcome. I hope you're doing well, and I hope you stick around and enjoy what you see. But thank you for being here. So, welcome. How do you find the channel then? Now, there's not a huge indication of any damage in this. That may be one of the things that does annoy me. I don't know if it's an emulation bug, but I like shooters where you can tell you're shooting in the right place. In this one, sometimes I think, am I shooting in the right place, or am I shooting in the wrong place? I mean, my homing missile things help tell me, because they home in on the right place. Like, what should I shoot? Well, where it homes in. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear it, Kaz. So here we go. Another vertically scrolling stages with some crystally asteroids. Look like the pieces from Columns 97, although they look a lot better than the Columns 97 pieces, because Columns 97, I think, is one of the uglier Columns games. Anyway, I'm not going to play all the way through Salamander 2 because, well, you can play it yourself, I think, if you like it and you can see the ending, you see the later levels, and maybe you can be better at it than me. I don't like to go all the way through games because I think I'm spoiling sort of the ending for people, spoiling the later stages. But yeah, Salamander 2 is one of the better games on Konami's GX hardware. I think it's one that still holds up really well, unlike some of the others that maybe don't quite as well. Obviously, the shooters all do. Parodius games, they will hold up really well. But some of the others, I mean, Lethal Enforcers 2, not so much. Shoot the core, not the main core. No, we don't want to break the main core. I mean, if every game starts to fail, I mean, RetroArch do a good enough job of breaking the main core for us. Superstar Dazzles was made by a Finnish company. I didn't realise that, Santeri. For some reason, I always thought it seemed like a very British game, but it doesn't really surprise me too much, but I wasn't aware of that. Right. Okay. So, let's go to X68K, because, you know, why not? And this is, I think this is Galseed II. Don't know much about this one, but the X68K is home to a lot of shooters. So it kind of makes sense to look at some of them. Yeah, that Team 17, that's what I associated it with. So I thought it was just developed by, you know, Team 17 somewhere locally, close, UK. Two credits, 50 cents. Yeah. Yeah, somebody was complaining about RetroArch the other day too, because on vertical games it still has horizontal scan lines. Is everybody going, the shaders in it are amazing? It's like, no, the shaders are the wrong way round on vertical games. So yeah, I know nothing of this. I guess I can't skip whatever this story is. Yeah, arcades did get a bit expensive. I mean, there was somebody mentioning, I think it was £3 a credit for some games at one point here, some of the bigger ones, and that's just excessive. Now, there do seem to be a few visual glitches in the intro here, where it's changing screen modes, but I don't think we're missing anything unless there's meant to be some text that's gone away. Yeah, I don't know much about who developed the Team 17 games mode, so I was actually quite surprised with, you know, what was mentioned there. Obviously, Worms is probably the most famous one, but now this is a very Konami-like selection screen, isn't it? So let's just go with the first option. No, I mean, a lot of the best developers on those systems were European rather than from the UK, but for some reason here, that fact was never really presented to us. It was just almost made out like the publisher was the developer. think this is a little bit loud actually, so hold on. Let me just turn the volume down a little bit because to me it's quite loud. So to you, I guess that's quite loud too. So this has got a very Konami aesthetic to it. Oh dear. Banned? Who's been banned? Spacey. I don't know. I can't pinpoint this music from somewhere else, but it's possible. Maybe they've just taken the music from something else. Who's been banned where, GP? I mean, you're talking about me getting banned from YouTube for being too hunky, is that what you're saying? Yeah, very, very Konami this, isn't it? That's why I picked it after Salamander. I mean, I don't always pick things that are connected, but I thought in this case, this seems very like a Konami game, let's play this. Plus it works quite well. Not every X68K game works as well. Unfortunately, there were a few shooters I was going to play where the emulation is not quite there yet. But Carlan's been doing a good job of improving the X68K lately, so who knows, by the time I do another stream, some of those bugs might have been fixed, and you might be looking at yet more Konami games. Not Konami, X68K games. I did say Konami. Shooter games on the X68K. We will be looking at more Konami games in the stream, though. I've got at least one more lined up, possibly even straight after this one. Yeah, this is an X68K game, Aaron. Galseed II. Not an arcade. I think it could have been an arcade. It's got that arcade quality to it, I think. Warning. Nice time on the boss up there. Obviously, you've got a big ocean, so almost a Darius-like thing too, with the sort of robotic fish. Some good music too. I mean, maybe it is from somewhere else, I don't know, but it's a good tune. Hey Matt the Sprat, thank you for joining. I hope you're doing well. And you've joined on the second game of the night, which is Galseed II for the X68K. Apparently I'm not doing a very good job of taking this boss down. Oh, I managed to shoot its tongue, yeah, like the fish tongue thing it's got. Okay, there we go. No, this is the X68K, Matt, so if you've only played the arcade games in MAME, you won't have seen this one. So, I mean, I've got quite a few X68K games in the list because I'm looking at arcade games and home games. So I did a little bit of research before the stream and tested a few shooters for the X68K and other platforms. And the ones that seem to work reasonably well in MAME, I put on the shortlist to possibly have a look at tonight. And this was one of them. Yeah, it's not Mega Drive. It could have probably been on the Mega Drive. It's capability-wise seems like it would be a good fit. Maybe somebody could port it, who knows. You don't see much of that though. You don't see many people porting X68K games to other platforms. And something like this, it's already using a 68K processor. So the code at least would transfer. You just have to rework all the graphics. Cave. Not that cave. A different cave. Yeah, I was a little bit worried when I saw the title Galseed and thought, what type of game is this going to be? But I think it is Galaxy. It's got a little bit of a IREM feel there with the blowing up of blocks to get through. Hopefully there's no unwanted surprises at least. You can never be too sure with Japanese games though. But if there are, a quick hit of the escape key will happen. And then the video will be edited later. But from what I can tell, the games I've picked are safe. I do try. I don't want to be streaming anything inappropriate. I can just hold fire as well, so all that tappy was unnecessary. Oh, I've been hit. So yeah, some nice parallax going on as well there too. You can see the clouds up there, obviously the first level. But yeah, the X68K is quite well known for having a good library of shooters. It's one of the strengths of the platform, generally. Oh, and that is game over. Do I get to continue? Or is that game over, game over? I think it's game over, game over. So this is from 1993. So for a 1993 game, yeah, this is kind of impressive. Oh, I can continue there. Okay. It's not game over, game over. I better go to start the level, though, don't I? Is it loading or does it crash? Oh dear. Oh, no, it's loaded. Okay, stage 2. It just paused a little bit while it was loading, I guess. I thought for a minute it had crashed, but it had not. It had not crashed at all. I'm quite far back in the stage though, so I don't know. I'll probably play another like virtual credit of this one. I mean, it's not really credits, but you know, until I have to continue again, until I game over again. Yeah, Aaron, definitely give them a look. I mean, say not all of them run perfectly, but Carl does seem to have quite an interest in the system at the moment, so maybe some of the issues that is present at the moment will also get fixed. I was looking at one or two and they seem to have a few clipping bugs. I wanted to play Cotton, but it's got garbage around the border. It's like it doesn't disable a layer or doesn't clip the main image properly. Because Cotton on the X68K has got exclusive bosses and the like. So that's one to check out if you like Cotton. But there are a lot of good games. I'll be checking out one that is maybe more famous on the SNES later. Well, maybe more famous on the SNES for the box art. Which, if you're familiar with SNES box art, you probably know exactly which game I mean now. Shooter with box art that does not fit the game at all. The X68K is a lot more capable in terms of the hardware than the Amiga. Yeah, because it's got proper bitmap layers, tile maps, sprites, I think. Whereas the Amiga is kind of still a bit of a business computer with gaming capability bolted on. I always find the Amiga quite odd. I mean, people made really good use of it, but you look at like the limited number of sprites it has. I mean, and then the way they're having to abuse the sprites to create the complex layers, and it's like, well, just having more sprites in the first place would have been wonderful. But yeah, the Amiga is very much a non-Japanese design. But people did good work with it, so, you know, can't complain too much. Oh dear. Flank, yes, that's the one, Bob. The old man with the banjo, which is like, okay. But there is an X68K port of that, and I'll probably be looking at it in a bit. Oh dear, I'm losing my lives quickly here. Should spend more time avoiding bullets than trying to get power-ups, really. While shooting the core. If I'm like, oh, I'm meant to be shooting up here. I'm not meant to be shooting the core at all. I'm meant to be shooting there. That core. The upper core. Oh dear. And the lower core. Shoot the lower core. The cores have been shot. And there we go. You sink down into this hellish landscape. Yeah, that is the cover. Most Amiga games run at half frame rate, 25 frames a second at most. There are very few that update at 50 frames a second. And it's one of the things I don't like about the Amiga, other than everything being for like a single button joystick, really, is that there aren't really many games that are smooth. There aren't many games that update every frame. Most of them, the compromise they took was to update every other frame or every third frame. And it's the real difference. The arcade quality is generally something you associate with update every frame. There are arcade games that don't. I mean, I think famously the likes of Green Beret don't. But most arcade games will update every frame, and a lot of Amiga games don't, and you really notice. It's the different. I mean, you run at half the frame rate, really, half as many frames, and it's just not smooth. Creature, nice wavy background here. So again, this is kind of well, it's very Salamander-y again, isn't it? In the aesthetic. So clearly they were trying to create a Konami type game here. Yeah. Yeah, so I think the SNES version was tweaked, wasn't it? But some people feel the tweaks, but the X68K version runs, I think, a high resolution. So we'll look at that in a bit. I'll keep looking at the screen for now, though. Kind of helps. Yeah, I'm really impressed by the music on this, I'd say. I don't know if it's fully original, because it was mentioned in the chat that it sounded like something else. But it's very impressive, really sets the mood, fits the game. It's a bit easier than the Konami shooters. And most of my deaths are lack of concentration rather than difficulty. But, yeah. Like that, where I decided to look at shoot the course, and then died. But never mind. Anyway, this is Galseed II on the X68K, and I'm really impressed by this one, actually. I hadn't played this until today. I was researching the stream. But this is a really solid Konami-like shooter that I would absolutely recommend anybody go and check out if they like Konami shooters. And, yeah, so, speaking of Konami shooters, why don't we just move along to another Konami shooter? There are quite a few Konami shooters near the start of the stream. I've kind of pre-planned that. Gradius 4 from 1998. So, have I missed anything in the chat? You're not a fan of the barreling of the image, Matt. I mean, not quite. I don't mind that, but I can see why it might put people off. Bob is in Alaska. I think you mentioned that before, didn't you, Bob? One of the plug and plays we got was sourced in Alaska. Right, so this is on Konami, one of the Konami's 3D platforms. There you go, you see. It's Power PC based. But yeah. It's also got a nice little shark as a DSP, which is it's kind of powerful hardware, really. So, this is, yeah, Gradius 4. So, you get the idea. It's using 3D hardware to pull off lots of effects that weren't possible on the older hardware types. So, let's credit it up and see what happens. Oh, you mean you're not too keen on the effect I've got here, the CRT effect, Matt? Yeah, I'm using the defaults on the shader, so it does have a little bit of a bend to it. People generally seem to have said they like it, but I can understand why it might not be for everybody. And hey, Art of Video Game, Art of Video Game. Thank you for subscribing, and if you're watching in the chat, feel free to say hello. It's always good to have new people subscribing and watching. So yeah, the barreling of the image in that case is my doing. I thought you were talking about some of the sort of barreling effects the game is doing in the background. So Keith Campbell. Well, Keith Campbell, congratulations for being part of one of the most iconic yet completely bizarre SNES box arts ever to be made. Now, just a sec, I'm actually just going to pause this for a second, because I'd rather have Zed X and C is my buttons. I say that and I die immediately. Hey, Strano, thank you for joining. Strano, I hope you're doing well. Thank you. Welcome to the chat. Again, is this your first time here? Is this my first time playing Gradius 4? No. Am I any good at Gradius 4? No. To avoid all the fiery things and fire dragons and not get trapped. You know, that's why speed ups help, because if you're not sped up, you don't stand much of a chance, to be quite honest. Now, it's a shame the banjo guy wasn't somewhere in the game as a sort of hidden bonus, but yeah. The holoscope. Yeah, that's just completely irrelevant, isn't it? So, didn't I do well? Let's start again. And see if I do any better. The answer will be no, by the way. Oh, hey Samteri, thank you for the €10 there. Always appreciated. Your Berserk robot will be thanking you in a minute, or at least telling you there is a coin in my pocket, just in case I didn't realise. Go on, Mr. Berserk robot. So, we're talking about the main git there, where you get your. There you go. The coin is now in my pocket. I do have pockets. I'm just having to remember. Too many clothes these days don't have pockets, which is kind of awkward for coins. Same with wallets. Too many wallets don't have anywhere to put coins. And sometimes you just want some coins. I like the CRT filters, the authentic looking ones, Strano. I think they really help the image. I mean, sometimes with the home systems, I'm tempted to put the NTSC filter on too. You know, so the Sonic Sonic waterfalls have that slight rainbow effect. Although it's not an effect I grew up with, because obviously I'm from the UK, so we had PAL, which was more just a blurry effect than the rainbow effect. Shoot the head, not the core. There you go, dragons. Many heads that are being shot. With my not very effective laser. I feel like I brought the wrong weapon to the battle here. I don't think these lasers these dragons care about my puny laser. Oh, who this? This has been a Necro N182. Thank you for the subscription. I hope you're doing well, and if you're in the chat, feel free to say hello. If you're watching the stream, you can feel free to say hello in the chat. I know what I meant. Now it's turned into a turtle. Is this turning into Discworld? And, okay. Back here, all the way back here. Hey, Necro. Thank you for subscribing, as I said. And what brings you here? How did you find out about the channel? Is it just me spamming it on Twitter, or is YouTube recommending it? Because there have been quite a few people joining tonight that I've not usually seen here. So, the channel did just pass 2,500 subscribers, which is a nice little milestone. I mean, I wouldn't really expect that of this channel, but clearly I must be doing something right here. Yeah, I feel severely. No, you've turned into a space shrimp. Maybe you'll turn into a space cow soon. Where is Cow? Cow's usually moving away in the chat. No Cow tonight. I'll try and reply to the chat in a bit. I'm currently trying not to lose all my lives to Space Shrimp. Which I'll probably do anyway. Now what you turn into? Oh, I think you just decide that again. That was probably a pitied explosion, wasn't it? Alright, good. Glad to hear it, Necro. I hope you enjoy the content I have to offer here. And you know, I'm not especially good at any of the games. I like to show off what's going on in MAME, show things that people might not have played, show off bug fixes, and just mix things up. Play arcade, play home games. So at the moment we're on the arcade Gradius 4, which is one of the more demanding games in MAME. It does run at full speed on my i7, but obviously if you're on weaker hardware, this one is definitely one that will struggle. I should really speed up sometime. Look, the graphics on this are just gorgeous though. I mean, I love the ground here, the colours. It's coral-like, isn't it? We've got the coral effect going on. Rather than it being all slimy and organic in the internal bodily functions way, you've got this beautiful coral look. And yeah, Konami did a fine job of the art here. Still organic, which fits, you know, the Gradius Salamander type games, but different.
You need more practice.
I thought that was in the foreground. Ah, here is Cow. Gradius 4. Gradius 4. I don't know if we've got any Cow-themed games, but Cow is here, and Cow is always a very welcome member of the community. How is 0.231 doing? With the new software list. I'm not sure what you're asking there, Twister. The new release should be out later today or tomorrow. You know, there's been a few new software list additions to things. I don't think any of these games have final laps. I mean, I could put Kingdom Grand Prix on, but I don't think that has laps. Especially not final ones. I could have played it on World Turtle Day, Bob, yes. Anyway, that was Gradius 4. It's what the young people say. It means get good at the game. I think I'm getting too old to get good at the game, Santeri. I mean, my reactions are getting slow. No, they were never that good. Yeah, source. I'm not a big fan of Git source control, actually. I find it a little bit confusing, a bit easy to break things. Oh, you named it after the Warhammer 40k Space Zombies. Who was that directed at? Project 64 20th anniversary. You're talking about the N64 emulator. I kind of just stopped following Project 64 a long time ago when they started bundling adware and the like. Oh, and the Phalanx guy was actually Bertil Valley, who passed away in 2004. I mean, these things happen, don't they? But, you know, his memory will live on in the Phalanx cover. Gradius 4 is a PowerPC, Shark as a sub-processor. Hold on. Yeah, it's got a Voodoo for the graphics. So it's a PowerPC with Shark DSP, which is also found on some Model 2 boards, with a Voodoo card for the graphics. So it's a bit of a mix of hardware. Anyway, speaking of Phalanx, we will load Phalanx for the X68K. No, it's not PS2 hardware. If it was PS2 hardware, it would not be running as well as it does in MAME. And yeah, Hornet, that's what the system is called. Well, yeah, it runs fine if you've got decent hardware. I mean, I'm on a 4070 Ti, 120 FPS, 60 frames per second. It's not bad. 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 It's not bad 4790K, is it? From about 7 years ago, 4 gigahertz, and it runs fine on that from what I can tell. I don't know if there are any later levels that don't, but the ones that are there do run fine. Yeah, the GT7, it's one of the few games Topon did, I think maybe the only one, that has a link-up feature as well. You could link multiple cabinets, but yeah, that's not Dumpton. No, not the bees. Not the bees. Zoom. I'm assuming it's just doing this animation while it loads the game. Takes a little while to... Yeah, Dodonpachi or, you know, Savage Bees is another bee-based shooter. So here we go. Game level, easy. Normal, hard. Normal. Stop. 5. Speed, that. Resolution is high. The game will be started. Again, there's a bad line at the bottom of the screen. A lot of 68K games do that. I'm not sure why, but here we go. So, to me, I think the resolution is a bit higher than the SNES port. And this is, as mentioned in the chat by R09, the original version of the game. So, I don't believe there was any Banjo Man on the cover here. Thunder Force 2. I've not played that. I played the Mega Drive version, not played the 68K version. That's more of a time pilot take directional thing, isn't it? Thunder Force 2. It might be, although I think Carl said it's something to do with the way MAME handles the high resolution mode. I'm not sure. I don't know the technical side of it. It could also just be hidden on the TV there, but I think it is actually an emulation thing, just a bit of a side effect of how MAME does something. But it's not too distracting, and I could stretch the image in MAME and hide it if I so wanted to. But it really doesn't bother me enough. I'm not really looking down there when I'm playing. Caution, caution, caution. I probably should also look more at the screen. So yeah, this isn't actually a game I've played that much of because I wasn't a big Nintendo person. I've played more of the Sega shooters in the first place, so I can't honestly say how this compares to the SNES version from a personal point of view. Let's use the bomb. Screen flashing, screen flashing, screen flashing. Lots of screen flashing. Hey Matthew, thank you for joining. Yes, you have made a stream. Good evening to you. I hope you're doing well. So this is Phalanx for the X68K, a game that is far better known on the SNES, mainly for the box art, but this is the original version that was released in Japan. And that was a bit of a waste of the attack. Some gorgeous parallax going on there. You know, it shows the X68K is a very good system for shooters. Now I did notice this is marked as preliminary in the software list. So I don't know if it's going to fail at me at some point, or if the recent improvements for things like overtake have actually really helped this one and made it run better. But from at least these first levels, it seems pretty solid. But if it does fail abruptly, I can't say I wasn't warned. But sometimes with the consoles and computers especially, the software list flags don't always get updated because you don't always know what you fixed, because obviously you fix something, you've got a library of a few hundred games to test and you can't test every single one. Which is also why, another reason I've been playing X68K games is because with the recent fixes that have gone in, I want to also make sure nothing broke, or if something has been fixed, we can note it's fixed. So, you know, it's important to actually test changes that go in, and why not just do some of that live on stream? Is it parallax hardware? I mean, it's got a lot of features. It's got raster interrupts. I don't know if it's got line scroll built in as a hardware capability. It might have. It probably does. It's the type of feature I'd expect. But I've not extensively studied it. It's not my my driver. It's not one I wrote. So somebody who wrote the driver might be more familiar with it. I'm just very impressed by some of the games. I don't think it can do row select, otherwise the racing games would be a lot better. Because row select, you know, when vertical scrolling per line, it tends to be what you need for a good road layer, and none of them have it. It can probably do some kind of road scroll, unless it does rely on the interrupts. If it relies on the interrupts, they've done a good job. Warning. Good soundtrack again. I mean, that's one thing you do find with the X68K. A lot of games have fantastic soundtracks. Now, I mean, quite an R-type like enemy here. Yeah. Well, I guess I'm shooting the core again, Or is that the core? Where is the core? Who's got the core? That wasn't very nice, you. What am I actually meant to be shooting? That'll do. This is why I like things. That flash when you shoot them correctly. I go right at the start, don't I? Again, yep, back to the start. What was that thing? Git good? Maybe I should try some of that. Evening, Carlo. Thank you for joining. He was on the Christmas cards as Santa. That doesn't surprise me at all. He's a very Santa-like figure with a big beard. I mean, I think SNES Drunk did some coverage of that actually. I think I watched SNES Drunk's video on a Banjo guy. Because Phalanx is actually a surprisingly good game. You would have thought from the cover they were just desperate to sell the game, but it's a decent game. But again, Parallax here on the clouds, which I didn't mention earlier, but very good looking game. So if you were to try and do a Mega Drive port of this, I guess you'd start with this version, because, you know, again, 68K. But again, nobody's really doing that. I think if I hadn't gone into doing emulation, I probably would be doing something like trying to port games from one type of hardware to another, just for fun. But, my time is consumed with emulation. They were desperate not to sell it, yeah. So I don't think I would have bought it with that cover back in the day, even if I had a SNES. It was like, well, what's this? Banjo Hero? There we go. These levels are surprisingly long considering it sends you back to the start when you continue. So you're probably not going to see too much more of the game from this stream because I don't think my abilities are that good. See, I'm trying to collect the bullets. You know, I'm trying to play shoot 'em ups like I'm trying to play Pac-Man. Collect the dots. Oh. They're not. Collect the big dots. They give you extra power. No, they're mines. Yeah, it's. But these days, it's an iconic cover, isn't it? It's one that everybody knows and loves. But it's back in the day. Yeah, it's. I doubt it worked. Is that a cat on the building? It looks like a cat. I forgot how long this level was. This is when you're setting the lives to maximum, wasn't it? Well, after this, there's going to be another Konami game, I'll tell you that much. Because, you know, that's generally what I've been doing. Starting, well, going Konami games and then other games. It's not going to be doing that the whole stream, but I did say I did want to start off with some Konami games. And hey Stephen, thank you for joining. Good to see you again. One of the regulars here. Let's try not to collect the bullets again. Just try not to die this much. So, this is number 136. So there's a lot of these bosses. Maybe. I don't know. That's a serial number. Yes, maybe if they were hipsters back then, maybe it would have helped. I don't know. I've not seen any X68 box art R9. Maybe I should look into it. But I am one of those people who actually likes the Master System box art. So make of that what you will. You know, I kind of like the minimalist approach Sega went with for some of those Master System games, even though most people absolutely hate it. Oh dear. Yeah, I'm not going to make it back. Yeah, okay, game over again. Well, if I continue, I'll be back at the start of the level. So, I think we've seen as much as X68K version of Phalanx as you're going to see on the stream tonight. I might practice it later. Not Ajax, Ajax, or however you want to say it. I guess it's not like the football team, is it? Or Typhoon, as it's also known. No, we're going for something, again, a bit more modern, a bit more 3D. This one has apparently had a bug fix quite recently. This is Solar Assault. Now, there are two versions of Solar Assault. There's the original version, which was, and then there's the newer version that was released as Solar Assault Revised. The original version was Japanese only, then Solar Assault Revised was released as just Solar Assault outside of Japan. So the two games called Solar Assault are different versions. Solar Assault USA is what was called Solar Assault Revised in Japan, whereas this is the original version of the game, which is less refined. A multi-bowl stream. What's a multi-bowl stream? So the original version just says Solar Assault Ver. The other version says, I think, Solar Assault D2 or something. So the emulation of this isn't perfect. There are a few places where polygons get stuck on the screen, which is really noticeable on the revised version, actually, because the title screen, you get shit stuck there, unless it's a priority glitch. But oh, MAME MarioWare. Is it just like, is it pretty much MAME roulette type thing? Like Lord BBH did. So, Vic Viper, because this is part of the Gradius series. Lord British. Oh, scripted minigames, okay. It's not something I've encountered, Strono. There you go, Solar Assault Gradius. It's got Gradius as a subtitle, so it's part of the series. 3 credits to start. Go on then. This is the story of the legendary starfighters Vic Viper and Lord British blazing a new trail through deep space. Yeah. Yes, that is the set name, Aaron. So I should probably be Lord British, because I am British. Can make sense. Very good presentation here. But yes, it's like a 3D Gradius, or Space Harrier, or Galaxy Force. Into the screen 3D shooter. That I'm probably going to be exceptionally bad at. because I've never played it before, at least not properly. I've credit fed it without trying to play it, but never actually played it properly. So let's see how it goes and how far I can get. And how the emulation holds up. I should probably start adding a few of the regulars to the moderation list in here at some point too. I think I can do that outside of the actual stream time though. Because, you know, I would approve Aaron's message with the set name in, but my hands aren't free right now. Am I shooting the core again? Or am I just avoiding things? See, there aren't many shooters with this perspective. Especially not ones with lots of bullets. So, kind of ambitious. Oh, I got hit, didn't I? This is sort of Konami trying to do their classic Konami formula, but in 3D. And yeah, I'm hitting bullets. And at least I can tell they're bullets. It can be quite difficult to avoid them, but there we go. Boss destroyed. Boom. Now, Abyssal Forest. Bit of a fog effect going on here. No, I can't imagine it would go well. Oh yeah, it's lots of credits. Let's just credit this up for later, otherwise I'll keep forgetting I've got to insert lots of credits. Like 2 credits to continue, was it? I don't know what I think of shooters in 3D, because like I've just lost 2 lives very quickly. And this is checkpointed, which means my progress may hit a brick wall if I don't get good at avoiding things. But visually it's quite pleasing. Again, very organic look that Konami seem to like. Big saw blade thing coming at me. I really should collect things I meant to collect as well. Concentration required in 3D. That's what I meant to pick up, isn't it? There we go. Got it. You feel so? I think this. I personally like this better than GTI Club, but that's just a personal opinion, I guess. GTI Club's one of those racing games that just never really clicked with me. There's some nice detailed enemies on this. I mean, wouldn't say it was wasted. Didn't even know this existed. I mean, I think I'd seen it on System16.com, and it was considered like a super rare game. But maybe it wasn't as rare as people thought, because there was a non-Japanese version, at least. Say the revised version was released outside of Japan just as Solo Assault. So, it plays pretty well on a PlayStation, Xbox pad as well with the analog sticks. This one, so that's an advantage. A lot of games don't, but the analog movement here works really well with a pad actually. Not making me any better at the game, but I do feel in control of it, which is important. It's unusual for a Japanese shooter to have like momentum on the controls though. And yeah, where am I going to go back to? Start of the stage. That's a bit frustrating, isn't it? I'm losing lives already. Yeah, the Clones of Warp 1 will be added. The new set doesn't actually show Taito either, so I don't know how we're determining that it's a Taito set. So anyway, I think I better just kill myself off here because I need to not die, and then I need to try and take out the boss. If I can't get, if I die too often in this stage, I'm going to move on to the revised version, see if we can spot any differences. Maybe it's easier. I'm going to move on to the revised version and see if it's easier, because you know, why not? Solar Assault revised. So this is the version that was released outside of Japan as just Solar Assault. Thunder Hurricane. Yeah, that's one I've seen live in person. And yeah, that's kind of bad. Yeah, I mean, the details are quite detailed. The graphics are quite detailed in GTI Club. I just never especially enjoyed the game that much, Strano. Although I can see the appeal of it. It's an interestingly designed level. Big hill climb. So yeah, look, it's revised. It doesn't say Gradius on the screen anymore. Boo. So let's just play this version. And let's be the Vic Viper this time. Yeah, I do like this one, the Ogre. I mean, it does have a bug fix in the current version of the MAME, which apparently kicks in at stage 3, where apparently it should no longer crash, although I don't know if that's been confirmed. But I did want to try and get to stage 3, but I have a feeling my playing ability isn't good enough. Now I'm trying to remember if the revised version dropped the checkpoints, or if it just changed the power-up system a little bit. I don't remember. We'll see. We'll see how far I get on this one. So the emulation is not perfect. But it's pretty good. Change your camera view a little bit with the start button. I prefer it that way. Yeah, I died already. Oh, there's a test mode. You can move the checkpoints in the test mode. I might have to do that then. If this version... I don't know if that's the default in this version or not. I must have done that before, because I've definitely played further in the game before. And I've not got worse at the game or better at the game. But let's just play it for a little bit, and then maybe we'll do that. Or maybe I'll do that on another stream, but I did want to play this one for a little bit. But I think it's always good to, you know, show off the 3D games that do run in MAME to some degree. Because MAME's not always got the best reputation for 3D, but some games are kind of playable. Yeah, I remember Gradius Gaiden being a good game too. Oh, so stage 2 on revised is a different stage. Fair enough. So they've changed the stage ordering. That's curious. I didn't know that. Let's see, we discover something on stream. How do I actually enable power-ups? I feel like I've got a key that's not mapped, or something I'm doing wrong. I don't know. The nice fire stage always reminds me of Galaxy Force 2 with its own fire stage. You know, the fiery beast jumping over you. Also, Ghouls and Ghosts does this a bit, doesn't it? So yeah, this will still go back to the start of the stage, unfortunately. So IO check. Thruster, missile, well, power up's that. Power up is X, apparently. Okay. For some reason, I didn't seem to understand how the power ups worked. Game options. Continue back. No back. Okay, so that's turning off. Yeah, the return to start of the stage. Player's life 7. That makes more sense. Now maybe we'll get somewhere. But now I don't know which stage 3 is meant to crash, because clearly Solar Assault and Solar Assault Revised have different stage 3s. I did kind of like the insecty stage on the original. Possibly. I think this will be interlaced. Although it depends what type of monitor it used. If it used an actual medium resolution monitor, then no. I don't know. MAME just kind of cheat with interlaced stuff and doesn't render them as interlaced. It renders them at fake high resolution. So yeah, I'm not really understanding the power-ups. This button is apparently power up. If I press it, it doesn't seem to do anything. So I don't know if that's broken. Because if it's like Gradius, surely I should be using the power-up now. That's odd. Might need to look into that. Because I'm not, either that or I'm just not understanding the power-up system here. Because I don't seem to have twin lasers, and this button definitely showed us power-up in the test mode. Oh, I selected automatic, right, okay. That makes more sense. Medium res, okay, yeah. So, no, it's not interlaced then, it's a true medium res game. I shouldn't have selected automatic power-ups then. I should have selected manual so I know what they were doing. But yeah, we won't be going back to the start of the stages anymore at least. Also, thank you for pointing that out, Bob, because I do always worry a little bit when things don't seem to be as I expect. It's like, as much as it's good to uncover bugs, I don't want to have to. I mean, that Empire Strikes Back thing on the previous stream was annoying, but that's not actually broken by the slapstick. That seems to have been broken for a while. I guess nobody plays Empire Strikes Back in MAME, because nobody's reported Empire Strikes Back as being broken. But, yeah, it's been broken a while, apparently. Although it's like much worse than the original Star Wars, so I don't blame anybody for not playing it. Olivia did say he'd probably take a look at it. I made some imp files for him, replay files. So maybe we'll finally get to the bottom of it, because the speculations it broke with the memory system change. I don't know. Possibly the Apocalypse Cow? Possibly you'd get a massive electric shock? Possibly you'd have a good time and you just really enjoy yourself. It doesn't want you to enjoy yourself. I've never tried. Very rare I get to see an arcade machine booting up. You're always on these 3D Konami games like a cockroach. Yeah, they're pretty good. I mean, I think this is one of Konami's better 3D ones. The 3D one I'd like to play at some point in emulation is Planet Harriers, the Sega one. It's not amazingly well emulated anywhere yet. And the only times I've seen original cabinets, they've been out of order. You know, one screen broke and the other side entirely broke. One side with a bad screen, the other side just doesn't work. But those Shihiro boards, not Shihiro, that's the Xbox one. What platform was it? Hikaru boards are notoriously unreliable. And obviously cabinets get a ton of abuse here, which isn't a good combination. Yeah, fiery dragon, big fiery dragon. At least we're going back to the start of the stage now. That's good. So yeah, I'll probably play this stage and the stage after it, and then we'll move on to another game. Because, you know, I don't want to spend too long on any one game, otherwise we're not going to get through many. You know, I think it's good to show some of these ones off in MAME. And again, this is running at full speed. I've not had any frame drops on my hardware, so performance seems actually pretty good with this one. Ooh. Yeah, the BGA, they desold themselves, don't they? That's what's been said. Stage 3, Curse. Not Curse the Mega Drive game. Well, I could play Curse the Mega Drive game at some point. That is eligible for the stream. Now, will this crash, or will this run? Or is it the other version of Solar Assault that crashes? I don't remember. Those look like dough from Arkanoid. This isn't a Taito game. This is the Revenge of Dough. Who's heard of MD Curse? I mean, I thought most people had heard of MD Curse. I think it got kind of bad reviews back in the day, so it was one of those that was on the avoid this game lists. Although it's not actually that bad. There are worse Mega Drive shooters than Curse. Yeah, this is a very different theme again. I think this is a tomb of some sort, I think. I think Curse was an early game, yeah. Probably Japanese only. But, you know, back then you could quite easily get games imported. I mean, I had quite a few Japanese only games. And they were often cheaper than the regular versions. And it's quite strange now you find that a lot of the Japanese games are more expensive. But back then, they were often very cheap. I mean, the Super Fantasy Zone I had in a tiny box, which unfortunately I've not got the box anymore, cost like about £3, whereas, you know, your average Mega Drive game was about 50. But unfortunately that box and everything else got lost at some point, which is a shame because those tiny boxes were kind of cute. What's my setup? In what sense? I've got i7 4790K running at stock 4 GHz. I've got 3 monitors. One of them really old, 2 of them new, all different. I believe there's 32 gig of RAM in here because Peter did buy the RAM for me, which was kind of him. Video card, I think it's a GTX 970, which is kind of handy because it drives 3 screens, and a lot of video cards don't. So this has got a different palette on this version. I don't know if the white palette is a bug in the other version, or if they re-coloured it. Although it looks a lot better here, so I'm guessing they decided black was a lot nicer as a palette than white. Also, I said I was going to play Stage 3 and quit, and now I'm on Stage 4. And it's kind of addictive, even though I'm doing badly and just blasting everything and dying. But it's a really good looking game, so I should really move on in a minute though. Yeah, the 970 is a good card. It's held up really well over the years. I mean, it's pretty outdated now, but like the whole of my system, really, it still holds up really well. So, what are we doing? Continue. No. Game over. I've not played Dr. House on 3DO. I've not really played much 3DO. 3DO doesn't really run in MAME, and again, I do most of my emulation through MAME. I just wait until things run at a playable speed in MAME, which may be an odd approach to take, but that's just what I do. Right. Shall we go back to the X68K, because at the moment that seems to be what we're doing. We're alternating between Konami arcade games and X68K games. So here we go. What's this one called? This one's called Zero Rai, apparently. Maybe we had the same computer, yes, Mr. Agner. Or however your name is pronounced, because that seems wrong to me. Is that the ASMIC A? Speed. Slow. Game start. 3DO basically does nothing, as far as I know. Maybe it shows a boot logo. It's definitely not emulated. So this is a caravan shooter with a 3-minute time limit. So if you saw me play the Master System, Flight of Pegasus, is that what it's called? Very similar concept. Time shooter, score shooter. Not that easy to design. Are there faces on some of these rocks? Yeah, those have got faces on them. That's a face rock. Looks like somebody's head with a funky hairstyle. I've not played Hellhound. It's one I might have to look at off the stream, Carlo. Got two different shot types. Those are high and low. I don't really understand the finer details of it, but very similar. Clear everything. Get the power-ups or the score items. I think I'm doing badly. I'm flashing a lot, which probably means I'm getting hit a lot. Again, very powerful soundtrack. Fast-paced action. Lots going on. These caravan games are generally meant to be intense, and it certainly pulls that off. Racing Force, they're sprites. The voxel effect is just on the 3D layer, the ROS layer. Basically, it's kind of a funky. It applies a post-process effect on the output of the rotation chip to do the road and tunnels and stuff at the side of the road. But the actual cars are all just sprites. Racing Force is one I'd really like to see emulated, but that extra chip that adds the height map to things is kind of confusing. Space Megaforce ripoff. I mean, it's a caravan game. There's lots of games like this. I don't know which was the first colour. You don't like Racing Force? I kind of want to play it. It looks like a sequel to WEC Le Mans, and that was one of my favourite Konami races. And I do like. I mean, it's clever technology they've got. I will say one thing about this game is the bullets are kind of hard to see. Pardon me? Got some great enemy designs. Some fast-paced music and fast-paced gameplay. 15 seconds left. I guess if you take out the first boss more quickly, you get further, because I'm running out of time. Time up. Forcing someone to race. I mean, it's a bit like forcing those cows to race in Super Skid Marks, isn't it, cow? It's just not fair. So what's score mode? Can I change score mode? Can't change score mode? What speed select? Score mode just shows you the score mode is scoreboard. And a replay of the highest score, okay. Okay, yeah, now it's fast. Now it's a bit too fast. Do you want your shooters in turbo speed? Because I think I just put my shooter in turbo speed. It is a bit fast. Yeah, it's a little bit too fast. It's extreme speed. I did put it on the fastest option in the menu, so I can't really say this was unexpected. That makes the timer faster as well. That's I thought maybe the fastest option would be how you get further in the game, but it actually speeds up the timer as well. So it's not going to get me any further. It's just faster, and I died. Looks like a DDP DFK with a black label with the blitter turned off. Possibly. I got a high score for being turbo speed. So it looks like this came out in 1994. Maybe that was a bit too fast. How about Speed 4? Speed 4 is still quite fast. Not as fast, but still quite fast. Now, I don't know what the thing that's charging up where it says low and highs for. Because I'm obviously going to change my shot type with the button, but if I don't do anything for a minute, it charges up, but I don't seem to get a better shot from that, so I don't know what that's all about. Is it some scoring technique thing? Then when you change it... I played Virtual Racing on the driving stream game glitcher. Oh. Anyway, that game is fast. And I think you've seen everything that game has to offer. It's just a case of trying to get the best score. Shall we have a look at the replay that's built into this? Let's see what the replay does. The replay seems to be on the fastest mode. Because, of course, the replay's on the fastest mode. So, what's this player doing? I'm assuming this is the top score. It probably stores the top score. I've noticed that on some of the X68K games there is a replay on the disc files we have. And the ones I played did just play back the top score. Which is a nice feature. Yeah, very compile-ish. Probably heavily influenced by compile games. Maybe more so... Maybe they're more popular ones, not the ones we looked at on stream, because we did look at some quite unusual compile games on the stream with, you know, runners high and... Oh, okay, there we go. That clearly wasn't the top score. Was that just my previous scoring attempt, in fact? That's disappointing. I think that was just my previous game, wasn't it? Just a different speed. Oh well, unlike some games, this one apparently does not give you the replay for the top score. It just gives you the replay of probably what you just did, which in my case was fail. Right. Next up. I think this one's vertical, isn't it? Halley's Comet 87. I don't know what differs from the 87 version compared to the others, but this version has 87 in the title. You see, it's got 87 in the title, and it's from 86. Now, I have to say, the underlying driver for this is atrocious. I'm amazed this game works at all. You know, some of the collision code seems to just be HLE'd. It's like, skip the actual CPU code, because it requires too good sync to emulate properly, and just feed the collision values directly into memory or something like that. It's an atrociously bad driver that really needs to be ejected and thrown into the sun. Yeah, Pure Pure's compile is probably the most famous game, isn't it? Now, I think the main purpose of this game is to stop anything dropping below the bottom of the screen, because if anything drops below the bottom of the screen, it does damage. And damage is bad. See, 1% damage now because I let that one past. I seem to recall... Was this worked on by the guy who did Bubble Bobble? Or am I thinking of something else? Obviously a classic Taito arcade shooter. On very unusual hardware for Taito, actually. The PCB for this is just bizarre. It's the least Taito-like PCB you're ever going to see. And the hardware in general is just a very strange design. I think it's got 4 identical custom chips for the graphics. And it's like a blitter type thing in a way. I can't remember exactly now. I've looked at the driver a few times and gone, eh? Where did that come from? It's just nothing like anything else Taito did. Oh dear. Fukio Mitsuji. So. What? I'm not good with names. I tend to misremember names, misremember who worked on what. It's not something I remember. Or faces. So, any idea what's different in the 87 version? Why is it branded 87? And why am I failing so miserably at this game? That's a bad pun, Bob. Okay. Do I want to start on Earth, or Venus, or Mercury, or the Sun? That sounds hot. Or Pluto. Why is the Sun in the middle? Or Uranus? No, let's not start on Uranus. Let's give myself more lives. Right, let's try again and fail again. Because, you know, apparently I'm not very good at this game. Got to rescue Earth from the comets, though. Not rescue Uranus from the comets, which would be the case if I changed the starting level. Good, bad. You're the guy with the pun. Bit of a dad joke, really. A bit of a dad pun, I think. Bit of a rude dad pun. If you have a very rude dad. So yeah, I'll admit I've not played that much of this game, but I've always liked the visual style it's got whenever I've seen it. And it's got, oh, look at the number of layers of stars. It's a very good looking game, I think. I mean, okay, it was released in '86, which is quite late on, but so I don't know how to kill this thing. That'll do. Was the sound effect meant to have stopped then? I think maybe I broke the sound. But we'll ignore that. Oh no, it's back, it's back, it's back. You're back to destroy me once more. I did say the whole drive needs putting in the bin, but I don't know if the sound is correct here or not. Oh, you got me again, and you're about to explode too. Hey John, thank you for joining. Yeah, I don't know why the chat shows up faster on the video than there. It's YouTube being YouTube, isn't it? I've not done anything special. Try refreshing. I mean... Oh dear. Without any pouts, this is tricky. When the game is over, you can control the ships. The best game you can control when the game is over is clearly Gauss Panic 4. Probably a rebalanced version. That probably means it's meant to be easier. Unless they decide the game's too easy. Oh dear. In fact, let's just start on a different level. If it actually starts... No. I don't think the start area option works in this version then. Let's load up the original version. Oh, I have to enable a cheat. Oh, this cheat doesn't work. Okay, I think I have to enable something else for that to work. If I enable all the dip switches. This is a useless dip switch. All the dip switches are broken. I don't know. It clearly says the dip switch changes the starting stage, but it doesn't. Live coding. This isn't live coding. This is live trying to work out why the dip switch doesn't work and why it's listed if it doesn't work. Does it work in the Japanese version? No. Never mind. That dip switch doesn't work. Maybe that needs some investigation. Usually dip switches are meant to do... It might be a case of you have to enable all the dip switches of it to work, but usually that's mentioned somewhere and they're conditional and I don't know. But either way, that dip switch doesn't do anything. Unfortunately. Right, from that game, let's go to a game that was clearly based on it. Oh, you're off, Christian. All right, take care. See you another time. And yes, you too. You have a great time too. You enjoy your night. Yeah, Shift P is a single frame advance. That is correct. I did soft reset, but although it didn't seem to do anything. Anyway, this is the Famicom Disk System with Halley Wars. Yeah, also if you turn the pause brightness up to 1, it doesn't dim the screen when you're doing that too, which is a handy tip. For the 31st time, Halley's Comet is approaching Earth. So you get a bit of an intro on this version, don't you? If I rewrite the drive on, I don't dare rewrite that driver myself, Cow. It scares me. I think it scares everybody. Yes, it's an FDS game that makes it past the title screen. At least it did last time I tried it. I don't know why some of the FDS games don't. That just need investigating, but yeah, this does make it past the title screen. You are the last hope of mankind. Command our most advanced spaceship. Save the planet from certain destruction. Most intros go too fast. This one goes too slow. Halley Wars. Press start button. 89. Okay. Set side B. Now, this is where you have to be careful, because you press space to change the disk side on the FDS, which is kind of odd, but MAME handles it that way because both sides of the disk are in one image rather than having to eject it in the thing. But if you change straight to side B, it doesn't work. You actually have to set it to empty, no disk inserted, and then quickly skip through A to B for it to load. There's a Game Gear version. I've not played the Game Gear version. So yeah. So yeah, it's clearly influenced by the Halley Comet arcade game. But it's still a nice little shooter, isn't it? So I thought, you know, why not do a port? And there's maybe another game that we'll do the same with later, where we'll be looking at the arcade and then NES port. Because I think sometimes that's a good thing to do, look at the ports of games that you've played. Especially ones that maybe you wouldn't expect. I mean, this one's maybe not too unusual, NES popular platform. Arcade's kind of 8-bit. This is obviously a bit of a downgrade from it, but it fits alright here, doesn't it? Plus, you know, it's an excuse to run the Famicom disk system. And also explain that thing up with the disk swap, which caught me out the first time. Because if you leave disk A in after empty, it kind of gives a loading error. So you just have to quickly swap. I have seen quite a few Retro Core episodes. Maybe not for this game, John, but I've seen quite a few of the Retro Core episodes, and they were really good. So yeah, if anybody's not seen Retro Core, definitely look up Retro Core on YouTube, because there are many good comparison videos where plenty of ports are looked at. Although, I think I even commented on one. Was it Retro Core where I said that the JAKKS plug and play Miss Pac-Man had been missed out, but apparently getting those units where he is kind of tricky. So makes sense. But you know, I'm a big advocate for the plug and plays being considered proper games, especially when they're original ports like those. And hopefully MAME will help with people doing comparison videos like that in the future. Now a lot of those ports are emulated. Okay, apparently my score is bouncing around too. I don't know if that's a broken raster effect or if that's just how the game is. It kind of looks funky. Yeah, I don't know if he's covered this game, but in general, yes, it's a very good channel, John. It's one I have spent yeah, I've watched most of the videos where the games being covered, the ones that interest me. And some that don't, where I've just thought, well, let's see what the ports of this game were like, because it looks like an ambitious game to port or something like that. So yeah, definitely an informative channel and one worth checking out. Alright, you're off, Andrea, so take care, see you around then. I'll see you on the next stream, or when you can make it. Yeah, I say this might be a broken split effect. MAME's NES emulation, and especially the FDS isn't perfect. But it's not too distracting. It might just be what they did, but that seems unlikely. Oh, I died again. Status bar scrolling bugs. Yes. I wonder if one of the interrupts isn't hooked up properly on the FDS. It might explain why some games hang on the title screen too. I'm not sure. Wasn't really impacting playability. In fact, it was kind of fun, but it does need looking at some point. I will admit that much. Yeah, I'll give this one more go, and then we'll move on to something else. I'm thinking we might go with a bit of a different genre next. We might go with the most famous of the dual joystick shooters. I'm sure you know which of the dual joystick shooters is the most famous. It needs no introduction. Well, I think that will be up next. And I'm not very good at it, so it won't last too long. Yeah, it's strange. I mean, the FDS is basically just NES hardware, so I don't know what's missing or broken on the FDS that's causing the issues. But I've never really studied it. I mean, I've only really studied the NES in the context of the plug-and-play units. Oh, I hit that. So FDS is a bit of a mystery to me. I know plenty of FDS games did get bootlegged as pirate NES cartridges. Don't know if this one did. Haven't looked. But, you know, I wanted to use the FDS driver just again for reference, because if it ever gets fixed, we can look back on the point. You know, at this point it was broken, and now it's not broken. So good to have that reference. It's why I've recorded some, say, the Ikara videos of the songs, so that if it does get fixed, you can go back and look at, oh, it was broken like this at this point, and now it's better, if it gets fixed. Because, you know, I can't seem to make any progress with the Savik sound. It's a bit of a mystery. The envelopes make no sense. Ooh. That's a bit dangerous. So it's a common thing with FDS games. That's interesting, because to me that suggests there's some kind of interrupt problem, because most of these will be using an interrupt to change the scroll values mid-screen, and if there's an interrupt not being handled correctly, that would also probably explain why some of the games don't move forward from the title screen, because it's waiting for something to change that never changes. So I think it's all a common problem. Ah, that's interesting. So it's probably been recoded to use a different mapper for the non-disc version. But yeah, it could indicate exactly what's wrong. Probably a good test case then. So when I finish playing this, I will copy and paste that. As not to forget it. I always forget to copy and paste things on the chat, and then end up forgetting what they are and not being able to find them later. But yeah, I'll try and, after I finish playing this game, copy and paste that into my little notepad file and have a look at it. I can't promise I'll fix it, because overall the NES emulation in MAME does need pretty much a complete rewrite. I've just been building on top of the plug and plays, but I can tell the code isn't the best. But if it works on one and doesn't work on the other, that is a good point to compare. With this ship fully powered up, this is a lot easier. I feel now. Well, I felt overpowered, but now I'm dead. Now I'm underpowered again. Yeah, there we go. I think that's going over. Yep. Okay. So that was Halley Wars on the FDS, which apparently has some problem scrolling at the bottom. Yeah, John, and that's what Bob's talking about. Yeah, this is RA9. It's quite a common problem, and you know you can't just flip between discs magically on real hardware, and emulation doesn't always take that into account. So yeah. Right. There we go. Right, so Robotron 2084. Unidesa license. So this is a version that's for Spain. Controls are standard dual joystick. Okay. Initial tests indicate operational. Yeah, so I'm always I don't mind when I find bugs. I can't always promise they'll be fixed, but it helps as a reference. It puts them at a specific point in time in the current version, any given point, and it's something to look back on, especially if things crash. I mean, when we get games that just crash on stream, or where there are bugs, I can try and look at what I was doing that caused the crash, which is a handy thing to be able to do. One of your favourites, Alan? Yeah, this is a favourite for a lot of people. It's just such a good game. It's the perfect example of a dual stick shooter. It's not the first dual stick shooter. There were dual stick shooters before this, but it's one that got so many things right. The fast pace, the colourful graphics. It's the one people remember. It's the way the effects work as well. You know, the way everything breaks up and goes into the lines is colour cycling. It's the level of difficulty. Evil robots. Oh dear. Yeah, I'm a bit out of practice on it. Yes, you do absolutely need two joysticks. I mean, I'm playing this on keys, which I don't mind doing, but it's not the perfect way to play it. The variety of enemy types, like those lines there as well. And it's very fast paced. It's one of those, you're on the machine, you're off the machine. Have another go. And the theme as well, the fact you're trying to save the families, the humans against these robots. I did see there's a Eugene Jarvis thing. I've not actually watched it yet, but I did note that happened. Now, I don't know which version of Robotron the Spanish version is based on. I've not studied that, because there are obviously different versions of Robotron. There are even recent sets in MAME that fix, you know, the old bugs, like the shooting corner bug that would crash the game. Because there are some famous bugs in the game too. But people have gone out their way to fix it. I think it was the original developers actually decided to go and fix the bugs in the game, and then put the bomb out there for free. Also, the sound effects on these games. Williams managed to reuse the same sound effects on so many games effectively without it feeling like they were reusing the sound effects. But they really did. And that's impressive, when you can use the same sound effects and still feel like you've got a fresh game. Look at the number of enemies as well. I mean, this is almost bullet hell before there was bullet hell, just not with bullets, but with the sheer number of enemies. Yeah, Smash TV is also a great one. Smash TV is basically the spiritual successor to this, isn't it? Now, after this, we will be looking at some games that are similar to this. For home computers. The Spectrum especially. Because, you know, I do like my Spectrum and I like my CPC. Yeah, bullet hell doesn't have to be bullets. It can be just any kind of overwhelming number of enemies and fast-paced shots. To me, this has that. You've got so much to be considering at any one moment. Lamatron. Yes, I think Jeff Minter must have been quite heavily influenced by this type of psychedelic colour cycling, wasn't he? And also, we might look at the Tempest game on the Jaguar at some point, if I get time. It runs okay in MAME, not perfect, but yeah, absolute classic. I'm not good at it, but it is an absolute classic, yes. So we'll give it another credit. I mean, most people are aware of this, so I don't want to spend too long on it because I'm more interested in looking at the games based on it that maybe people aren't aware of for the home systems. Because if you've not played Robotron, where have you been? Play Robotron. Absolutely play Robotron. This is an all-time classic. It's one of the most compelling and addictive games ever made. And it's just perfect. And difficult. And also, yeah, play it. Play Robotron. Pod Grid Runner. Yeah, Pod Grid Runner's not a bad game. That's not the one I was thinking of, but that's more... It's not quite Robotron, is it? Still another fast-paced shooter. Yeah, Jeff Minter does have some decent games. I mean, ABC. Anyway, that was Robotron. Now, we will go to the Spectrum. Loading sounds incoming. Be aware. Oh, I actually want the UIs now. So this is Wild West Hero. You can instantly see from the loading screen, with the T's around the screen, this is very much influenced by Robotron. It's from '83. Use Kempson joystick. Oh, and we don't want it that fast. Yeah, okay. Now, the difference here is you do auto-fire in the direction you're facing. There's no fire button in this. You just fire it in the direction you're facing. So, apparently I'm playing already. Hey, Millfruit. I might play Cosmo Gang in a bit. It may be an ELO reference. Anyway, I wish to kill myself off in this because I need to start again. Game over player 2. Yeah, I wasn't even trying to play a 2-player game. Right, a 1-player game, please. So, again, we've got cacti blasting, we've got enemies blasting, and I'm running into. Now, after coming straight off Robotron, the lack of the twin sticks here does catch it out because you've got to move towards things to shoot them and not run into things. So, we'll get there. I did better on this earlier. It's very fast paced. We'll catch it out. Now, I may have played this on stream before, I don't actually remember. I mean, everything just kind of homing on you. The AI is not as advanced as Robotron, but this is a simple Spectrum game, an early Spectrum game in fact. But it's a good one. It's not the one I grew up with, but we'll come to that in a bit. Battlex. What's Battlex, Carlo? Stage 6 has 6s as the flashing things. But yeah, for a Spectrum game, to be pushing this many enemies around is actually incredibly impressive. Not something you expect. So, I've always been impressed by this one. Obviously, colour cycling effects are fairly cheap to pull off. But, got caught. Another Minter game, is it? Ah, okay. It's not one I'm aware of. No. I don't have a perfect knowledge of Minter's games. So you did something for the Iconics system too, didn't you? That is not emulated in MAME yet. Where, you know, we've not really got proper system ROMs and everything's sort of dev kit files, and unfortunately I'm not quite sure what approach we should take for that. Iconics Multisystem, was it? Oh, the collision's not perfect on this, I have to say. You never played this game on your Speccy. I think this was probably a less common version of the game than the one I grew up with, but this is the earlier version. We'll get to another one in a bit. I think on a real Spectrum it might run a little slower because MAME's emulation doesn't emulate all the bus contention issues. I'm not sure. Still an impressive game, an impressive piece of programming. Yeah, the Spectrum is just no hardware splice at all. Just a bitmap frame buffer with a very unusual addressing scheme and attribute RAM for the colours, which is 8x8 pixels at a time. Not the easiest thing to get a game like this out of, it has to be said. But this holds up well, it's fun. It's not perfect, but it is fun. I'm not going to play it for too much longer because I'm going to move on to a different game by the same programmer. Got caught. Yeah, Minter did get that style down well. Oops, I've gone straight into something. Is that game over? No, it's not game over yet. I mean, this game gets that style down quite well too. It has to be said. Very easy to get trapped though. So the AI just homes in on you, so it's not as advanced in that sense as Robotron, but yes. Wild West Hero on the Spectrum, a frantic, fast-paced game from '83. So for a Spectrum game, this is pretty early on, and that makes it even more impressive if you ask me. But yeah, but that did get reworked into a different game. The other game is the one I had. So we'll load up this one. Again, loading noises incoming. This is Dustman. This has got its own custom loader. It's a very 80s title screen, isn't it? This one's from '84. Yeah, that game fit the Spectrum really well, Rob. So this one is Dustman, and again, you can tell it's basically the same thing. It's going to be the same game engine, but trying to do things a bit differently. The enemies don't home in on you now. And some of them can't be killed. This is the one I had, but generally I prefer the Wild West Hero I just played. Oh, I didn't know that Z9, K9. What's is there any easy way for me to find that web page? What should I be searching for? What did you name things? See, this doesn't really play like it, but it's clearly based on it and the same developers. Trashman, yeah, Trashman is the one with the street where you're taking out the trash. Well, picking up the trash, isn't it? So, again, it's clearly heavily Robotron based, but this does play very differently to Wild West Hero. It's still impressive. I think the collisions are worse on this though, because I don't think I was anywhere near that skeleton. The YouTube will probably censor the link initially, if it comes through at all. I mean, you can try posting it. I might have to manually approve it, but it might not come through at all because, you know, YouTube do lock everything. Yeah, again, very Minter-like. Used to work with Malcolm Evans, who was behind that game. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, Trashman isn't one I really played back in the day, although I have seen people play it. It seemed like a nice concept. I've not played 3D Monster Maze. The 3D Maze game I played back in the day was one I have right here, actually. It's a very dirty old cassette. But that was Escape on the Spectrum. I got that one. That's the 3D Hedge Maze game I used to play. And yes, that cassette still does work. At least one copy of the game on it. I think the game's on the cassette 4 times, twice on each side, and one copy still loads. Yeah, put in some good search terms for if it won't let you link, because I'm not seeing a link coming through. So if you try to post a link and it's not coming through, it's just not going to let you, and that is down to YouTube. Sitting right next to the Van Halen 1984 cassette. No, I don't just have a collection of cassettes on the desk. I do have that cassette on the desk for no apparent reason, but in general, yeah, I should concentrate on the game sometime. Before we move on, now you see, I've good enough enemies, so I get to this guy. Anyway, jiggling joysticks and terrible televisions. Although they're all on channel 4, I don't know if that's why they're terrible, but you know. Don't walk into the Pac-Mans. Or Pac-Man. Is it Pac-Mans or is it Pac-Men? Or is it pizza slices? Because obviously there's no license from Namco here. Okay, I'm doing really bad at this now. I think we'll move on. Right, I'm going to look at another version of Robotron. Because, you know, I like to do obscure systems every now and again. The TI-99-4A had a version of Robotron, which we will attempt to play. Whose line was it anyway? Was born on Channel 4. To be fair, I think Channel 4 do have a few good shows. But it said it was terrible television, so maybe it just means they're really bad CRTs that look worse than the shader. So yeah, this is a fairly unusual port of Robotron, where I don't know what the fire key is. Oh, there we go. There we go. Now I can fire. I thought it was going to be Robotron the dodge 'em up for a minute. So, you've got your MSX like graphics going on here, because it's one of those systems. Obviously, this isn't quite as compelling as the Spectrum games I was just looking at. But if you want something that's Robotron-y, an actual port of Robotron, in fact, this is one of your options. But yeah, it's quite slow paced, this one. This is pedestrian Robotron. Survival horror. That's a different take on Robotron. Robotron, but you're not allowed to fire. Robotron, but you have to get all the enemies to kill each other like Berserk, and then the last one runs away. Not indexed. I tell you what, if you put it in the comments for the video, I'll probably see it in spam if you can't post it in the chat, and then I should be able to approve it later, because it does sound interesting. I'd like to read about reverse engineered Defender sounds. Also made the official Robotron game. Ah, I didn't realise that. I didn't even know there was an official Robotron game on the Spectrum, actually. I definitely never played an official version. If I have, I've forgotten about it. Oh, maybe it wasn't as memorable as those were. Human. I've not played the 2600 Defender. I've played a lot of good Defender clones on things like the Speccy and the CPC, and I think even the C64 had a good one. The Alligator Software version, was it just Defender with an A, Defender? That was really, really good. But I say I can't speak for the 2600 version. It's not one I'm familiar with. You have 20 bullets. Oh, okay. I don't like this level. It kills me. This level's tricky. These boxes move in squares. Maybe Mo. I've definitely not heard of it. Suddenly I'm losing all my lives. New Robotron hero. Yeah, I mean, there are probably ways to turn Robotron into more of a tournament game in that sense, Bob. Remix it a little bit. I mean, you've seen what happened with the Miss Pac-Man Championship Edition on the NES, which I covered on another stream. And I'm sure you could start to sort of remix Robotron into something like that. You know, a very intense time-based challenge with different way. I mean, it's an intense game anyway, but you could definitely do different things with it. Yeah, Pac-Man 2600 was kind of bad, wasn't it? There's no comment box yet. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. You do that, and I'll have a look at it. R9 K9. Anyway, that was say a Robotron port to one of the more obscure computers that probably less likely to have been played. So where next? And what time are we on? We're on 2 hours 15 minutes, so we're not doing too bad. Okay, I'll go with I think a game I played before. Section Z or Section Z from Capcom. So this is your two-directional shoot and bomb game. A lot of people like this one. Kind of set the stage for things like Forgotten Worlds. Because that was also a Capcom two-directional or multi-directional shooter. Hey Rockman, thank you. Thank you for joining again. Good to see you. And I'm just playing a bit of Section Z now. I might put on the shooter from the X-Men plug and play in a bit actually. Now you joined. You've reminded me of that one because the final game is a shoot 'em up, isn't it? Now, I seem to recall last time I played this I didn't do very well. I seem to have this strange feeling that I'm not going to do very well again. This also feels like a very Konami-like game, even though it's a Capcom one. It does have that kind of Gradius feel to it. Although the music's very spy-themed. I feel this music almost belongs in a Bond movie. Jazzy spy music. Yeah, I can face left. And yes, there are some screen clipping issues with this game, unfortunately. It happens with quite a few games. Some hardware just wasn't very good at displaying sprites that were off screen or moving off screen, and you get clipping issues. I believe this is one of those pieces of hardware. In other cases, it's just bad programming. Oh dear. Turn green when you die. Sorry, I've not cut the whole comment there. I just saw turn green when you die. Yeah, getting those turrets can be quite tricky because you have to get right up there. Also, I got point blank by the enemy there. Yeah, Capcom before they worked out who they were. And obviously Capcom would eventually just become that company that makes lots of fighting games. But, it was nice when they were trying other things. Good. Here is the section E. Your bonus points is 5,850. Now let's try the section J. Let's get to J. This is where I failed last time, isn't it? This vertical section. I think the lasers got me. Yeah, I'm not. I will revisit games I've played before from time to time. Because there are only so many games I can play. And ones like this I think are always worth another play. Oh. Those things, the mines got me, didn't they? And they've got me again. 5 stages. Each stage is kind of divided into sub-stages for each letter, though. That's a lot of letters. Capcom's old games with their games listed in the high score table. At least the checkpoints aren't too cruel, but yeah, these mines are annoying. It's like Frogger, but vertically scoring with mines as traffic. Frogger with mines would be probably cruel to frogs, though. Not that cars are any less cruel to frogs, but you know. Too many of these bits. Yeah, I'm bad at the section. Literally a section, because the game calls it a section. Maybe the centre's not the best place to be. Maybe I want to be like here so that I can blast things as they come out. I saw no path through. Good evening, Catharsis. Thank you for joining. Welcome to the stream. I hope you're doing well. You are watching me play Section Z incredibly badly. And I'm getting worse. Maybe autofire would help too. Let's be aggressive. Let's be less aggressive. This is where this game kills me every time. I have no strategy. Faster Burai Fighter. I've not played that game from memory. I do want to get past this section though. So apologies for the excessive credits here. It's annoying me to the point where it's like, I must beat this now. There we go. I think I actually got past it. We got to section H. I think this is harder because you don't shoot up and down on the section, you only shoot left and right. So it really changes how you have to play the game compared to the horizontal sections. Because what you can shoot at is completely different. I'm close to section J though. See, after that bottleneck, you know, where it seemed difficult, I appear to be progressing much more easily. Now I have a worm. Space worms. I'm soon gonna have to hit the head. Yeah, there we go. Good. Here is the section J. Yes, there's section J. Look. Yeah, keyboard. I do play on keyboard most of the time. So yeah, okay, I got past that section. So that was section Z from Capcom. Let's go to a NES game. This game by Natsume is called S.C.A.T, which apparently stands for Special Cybernetic Attack Team. Hey there you go, welcome back. I hope you're doing well still. So yes, this is not the best named game in the world, it has to be said.
You must destroy them. The Earth is counting on you. Good luck.
A nice bit of speech there. So again, this is, I mean, this you don't have a change direction button, but it's it reminds me of Section Z in the sense that it's a two-directional shooter really. You're shooting in front of you and behind. You've got attacks from both directions, threats in both directions. It seems to have quite good sound design for a NES game. It doesn't have that NES sound really. It's got its own style to it. I must destroy them. I mean, I probably won't, but I must. Oh, more lasers. At least they're not mines. I don't like mines. Yeah, I mean, I suck at playing games with any type of controller catharsis. That's probably why I'm more of a developer than a gamer. But it's still fun to, you know, stream and play a few games even if I'm not especially good at them. See how far I can get, see if I improve at any of them. Look for bugs in MAME, see if there's anything I can fix. See what I can learn. Study the games, learn about the games. See if there are any game mechanics that really stand out, though. You know, but I think if I was doing a game, I'd do that, or anywhere if I was doing a game, I'd do something differently. But yeah, I get the impression this was probably a pretty good game. I mean, I don't know my NES shooters, but I fired this up. I think when I was going to do a previous shooter stream and didn't get around to playing it, and thought, yeah, I like this one. Seems pretty good. So, I mean, I generally prefer the Master System over the NES as a platform, but I can still be impressed by games on the NES. There are a lot of games on the NES, and a lot of good games on the NES. Brother Fighter is NES 2, is it? Okay. I forgot to copy and paste the thing that was mentioned in chat earlier, didn't I? Okay, I'm going to have to be scrolling through chat in a bit. And maybe make some notes, if I remember. I'd play more on pads if they felt right. I mean, even with a proper, you know, Xbox One pad there, it feels very floaty to try and play any arcade games on. And a lot of the new pads you can buy still feel like cheap Chinese pads. I don't know. I've not really found a pad I like, a recent one. They're okay for the games they're designed for. I mean, PlayStation and Xbox One pads are really good for the actual games on the platform. But when doing retro stuff, they don't always feel right. Can hardware-assisted 3D be an eventuality? Yeah, I would say it probably will be, John. It's just a case of it getting done in the right way. More so... yeah, I thought S.C.A.T was a good name. I do wonder the same, Cow. MAME doesn't even have to go with these silly ROM set names with this game. It's the actual name of the game. But yeah, I think we'll get 3D acceleration eventually. But it'd be more a software renderer on the 3D card than, you know, translating everything to DirectX calls. Because the only way you can get accurate is really by doing it that way. And, you know, a design for doing that needs to come up. A way to do that translates across different platforms properly, with the software fallback and everything else. It's not an easy task to think about, because we still need to maintain the fallback that actually works and gives accurate results when people don't have a suitable card. You can't suddenly make a specific card and a specific OS a requirement. You got a Samurai stick 2 years ago, and your shooting up skills improved a lot. Maybe with a proper stick, then I'd be better. But I think a lot of shooting up skill comes down to reactions and reading the screen and working out what's going on, and I'm not good at that. I get worse at that as I get older. Yeah, this one, say I like it. It's got a terrible name. The Japanese name is far more normal. I think it's like Final Mission or something in Japan. Yeah, Final Mission. So I don't know how on earth they decided S.C.A.T was a better title for the export version, but somebody somewhere did. Don't need to play it much more. I think you've seen what there is to see of it. But yeah, that's not a bad little shooter, is it? Right, hold on. Joining a game dev studio. I'd quite like to, but I want more of a design role than a programming role, and because my history is more programming, everybody just wants to offer me programming roles, which is kind of... Right, let me copy a few things out of this. Burai Fighter into my notepad file. Right, what... What else was I going to copy out of here? Okay. Natsume 3. That's not. I said to try Cosmo Gang the video in a bit, didn't I? I'll probably try Cosmo Gang the video next, in fact. Okay. That's the one. Biomiracle. There we go. That's the important thing I needed to copy out this to have a look at the FDS. Thank you, Bob. Right. Okay. Cosmo Gang, the video is vertical, isn't it? Let's play the Japanese version because, you know, why not? You're going to touch the... Don't do it, cow. Don't do it, cow. Don't do it, cow. It might do bad things. It might be like one of those cow branding sticks that people use. No, we're not playing Final Lap. Right, so Cosmo Gang the video. Now this is Cosmo Gang the video because Cosmo Gang itself was a mechanical machine that MAME does now actually emulate. It emulates really well, where, you know, you're shooting at the aliens. So they made a video game spin-off and they made a puzzle spin-off. And this is the video game spin-off, which is very Gallagher 88 with a cutesy theme, really, isn't it? So let's give it a play. Yeah, the Data East mechanical thing was the original Cosmo Gang, I believe, which does run in MAME. It's not a shoot, but I guess it is a shoot 'em up, but it's not kind of the shoot 'em ups I was initially considering for the stream. I think I've got a video of it actually, because I think Hap told me I was playing it wrong. But it's quite funky to see things like that running in MAME these days. Big explosions. It's like Wacky Gator. That was another thing Data East licensed from Namco. Baby toy squeaks, yes. It's got very cutesy sound effects. It's got that sound. Everything you kill in a chain has a different sound effect to it. It you know, goes up a note, which is a nice, like Mr. Do with the. That wasn't a nice clear at all. That was a clear that left me dead. Yeah, Mr. Do is the most famous game that does that. Every time you pick up a cherry in a row, you get an increased sound effect. Higher note. But this is doing the same with the things you kill. I think in more modern games, Peggle is the one that most people associate with that. Every time you hit a peg in a row, you get a higher note. Yeah, Wacky Gator was a good fun one, and you can play it in MAME. It's a bit too easy with. See, this is like the tradition. This is like the mechanical game. You've got to stop them stealing the boxes. So this is literally a video version of the mechanical game, except they move sideways as well. Yeah, Wacky Gator's a good fun take on Whack-A-Mole, isn't it? But with the little gators that pop out their holes. But yeah, obviously they've got to throw in this level, which is just a literal video version of Cosmo Gang. You like watching videos of the old Electro games. I mean, they don't always translate too well. I mean, maybe one day MAME will have full cabinet artwork and 3D model simulations of them, who knows. But it's nice that they run in any form at all. One of the devs, I can't remember which dev it was. I think, was it Duke? Has been doing a few internal artworks to some mechanical games. Not really ones that are playable because they require physical elements to run, but ones where you can trigger all the different elements of the game from an on-screen display with artwork. Cosmo SWAT's still a bad dump, I think. I don't know what happened there. Somebody dumped it. One of the graphics ROMs is bad, and then it never got redumped. I don't know if the graphics ROM just died on them or something like that, or if it was a bad board in the first place. But yeah, Cosmo SWAT's still got a bad graphics ROM, so I don't think anybody is working on it. I do notice the sprites flicker sometimes on this. I don't know why. Cosmo Galaxian. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. It is. It's more Cosmo Galaga or Galaga 88 than Galaxian, but I would have gone with Cosmo Galaga. But if they went with Cosmo Galaxian, no, fair enough. Namco can go with that. Although I'm surprised they went with Galaxian. Yeah, I think I would have liked Cosmo Galaga, as I said, but Cosmo Galaxian is not a bad name. Right, so we'll play this level, and we'll play maybe up to level 10 on this, and then we'll have a look at something else. We are on 2.5 hours now, and I think this will be a 3-hour stream. I died. Yeah, very cute game. Definitely one of those cute 'em ups. I think, as much as I like Space Invaders 95, I think as far as cute 'em up shooters go, this one just works better. Can't get the camera. I wasn't planning on doing the Super Famicom port of this next. This wasn't actually on my initial list for today. So I'm going to have to pull the random thing up next. I might go with that X-Men shooter, actually, from the plug and play. Because that didn't have anything I was going to play with it. We've kind of gone a little bit off script. But there we go. Cosmo Gang, the video. I've heard that music somewhere else. That's the music that got ripped off in Little Robin, isn't it? That is the Little Robin music. Yep, that's the music they used in Little Robin. Which isn't a shooter, so I won't be playing it. Right, so yeah, I'm going to go with the potentially not so good shooter in the X-Men plug and play. I like a lot of games in this plug and play. But the shooter seemed kind of meh. But we'll play it anyway. MAME is the stream. I am the stream. I am streaming. I'm going to turn into water, or if you boil me, maybe gas. Extreme. So, Storm. I mean, some of these other are kind of shooty. I think the Cyclops one is a shooter of sorts, but Storm is the regular shooter. So why not? And this has only just been added to MAME, this plug and play. Nice scrolling going on. Frame rate could be better, kind of feels Amiga-y. It's probably updating every other frame, as a lot of these plug and plays do. And it's probably not going to be overly challenging, even on Extreme. But if we try and collect bullets, it might be. You can charge your shots. There we go. I'm trying to collect bullets again. Now, the other option I was thinking of was probably Silver Surfer on the NES. That's another superhero shooter game with a great soundtrack. I've not really played much of it, so I might be even worse than most games. Warning. Yeah, I know Rockman in the chat is looking forward to giving this X-Men plug and play a try because he really likes the Gambit game, which is a stealth tactical shoot the enemies thing. In fact, I guess you kind of call it a shooter. It's just not a shoot 'em up. Yeah, I might put Silver Surfer on then. I mean, it would mean not alternating back to an arcade game, but it should be. That doesn't matter too much, does it? So I'll play a little bit of this and I'll put Silver Surfer on. I do think you have a special power source. That's not special power. That's special power. Line scroll effect, see? Fancy. If you read warning, you expect a big fish. Yes, Darius style. We did have a sort of fish earlier in one of the earlier games. One of I think the second game, the Galseed II, which seemed to be a mix of Konami and Taito inspirations. Started with a sea level with a fish boss. It was an excellent game, by the way. It's definitely one I would go back to. So if you didn't catch the start of the stream, definitely check out Galseed II for the X68K that I played, because that was excellent. That was one of my favourites from the stream. So yeah, I don't think this is going to be too challenging, because it's a plug and play game. Still competently executed, I would say. Might get your first 1cc on stream. Oh, I've cursed it now, haven't I? Some of the plug and plays are pretty good. Technically, but some of them are quite impressive. And the original little creations, simple games. If you're a kid, they'll keep you occupied, keep you busy for sure. And some of the arcade ports, especially the Hot Gen ones, were actually really good. Say the Miss Pac-Man and Pac-Man things that they did. I can't complain about them. It's just a shame that Tecmo unit was never released, because I think that was meant to have Solomon's Key on. I would have loved to see that. But who knows, maybe one day one of the developers at Hot Gen will come forward and go, oh, we have this prototype and this one, otherwise I don't think that we'll see much of them. I don't think they ever left Hot Gen, unfortunately. But who knows? I think expressing an interest in emulating them at least creates an interest in the games. So we might end up with lost content turning up. But I don't know. Anyway, I'll move on to another game shortly. I ran out of energy. Yeah, if you like Konami shoot 'em ups, and definitely check out Galseed. Yeah, I'll play this until, I don't know, maybe next stage. Get another X charge thing. I don't know. I mean, over here we didn't really see many of them. Again, yeah, I've only ever seen the Awful NES ones and things like the Wireless 60, like you say. So I don't really know where these were sold. Oh dear. Anyway, yeah, I think we've seen enough of that. I did say Silver Surfer, didn't I? So yeah, I'll look at Silver Surfer on the NES. I haven't even got any PlayStation games done today. I was going to have a look at some of those, Harmful Park and the like. But maybe that'll have to be another time. Harmful Park's pretty good. In fact, maybe I should really do an arcade game after this one, though. Silver Surfer. Now, most Silver Surfer games are pretty bad. This one, I believe, is one of the ones that is actually pretty good. At least the music is. Fish. Duck. Prepare to be disappointed. Is it not actually a good game then? Is it just the music's really good? Because I do see this one mentioned a lot. But it got killed by a bridge. Note, mortal enemy of Silver Surfer, a bridge. I kind of like what I'm seeing so far, but does it just get a bit samey? I've not censored your message, Catharsis. YouTube must have censored it. I've not even got the option to allow it through, so whatever was censored is YouTube and Google was doing. I don't even get to see what you tried to say. Yeah, Charles, MAME does run a lot of other systems. It's not always the first choice for some of them. Like there are better NES emulators, but there are plenty of games on the systems that do run well, and for some systems MAME is the best option. I mean, if you want to play something like the obscure Game King handheld or Game 8 handheld, then MAME's the best option. And the emulation of a lot of other systems holds up really well, actually. Plenty of the X68K games are very playable. Some don't quite work yet, but we'll get there eventually. Yeah, MAME does a lot today, including non-video stuff. And yeah, actually, when we go for arcade next, I'm going to put on Cosmo Gang. It's kind of a shooter. I'm not going very well in this game, am I? I need auto fire, I think. Again, killed by the bridge. Yeah, I'm sure Silver Surfer being killed by a bridge should be a meme of some sort. He wrote "scene" with an A. So you wrote "seance" and it censored you. Clock, yeah, that's another Phalanx one, wasn't it? With pretty good music. I do like some of the Phalanx music. No, I'm not doing that again. I'm not going to the bridge. I know what bridges do to me. Oh, with a... Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why it would censor that. I'm going outside. This was maybe a mistake. I'm going outside. Might still be a mistake. Not literally, I mean, I can't stream from outside. Turbo Duck. Why do I get the impression this might be a game where a random cow will show up? It's got fish, it's got turbo ducks. It's got flying lizards. Oh, yeah, scance isn't really a word, is it? YouTube censorship and filters often don't make sense. I'm assuming somebody's reported something like that before and it's been added to an automatic list of things that get filtered. Must work. Must work something like that. Oh, so I can fire backwards if I press that option button. That's handy to know. I should have worked that out earlier. Now I can fire backwards as well. Now all these enemies behind me, of which there are none, will fear me. Now there's some behind me. In fact, they don't fear me that much. You know, I'm not minding this. I'm not very good at it, but I kind of like it. Should have stuck to firing forwards. Don't think I'm going to get anywhere in it. I think we've already established my game skills are not adequate. No, I just wanted to kill the duck, but maybe you can't. Okay, Silver Surfer. Yeah, I'm just dying a bit too often on it. Right, so I did say I'd quickly look at this, which is not strictly a shoot 'em up, but is kind of shoot 'em uppy. I don't know. How this is going to capture. Oh, it captures okay. So this is Cosmo Gang. This is the mechanical game. This is a non-video game that's being simulated in MAME using the artwork but running the original code. So, where do I shoot? Perhaps someone was playing this wrong before. Oops, I think I broke.
We won! We won! We got energy!
We made it! We made it! Bye-bye! Yeah, yeah.
So the aims. So mouse not. I couldn't seem to hit anything. See, I didn't have that problem last time I played it. Also, my inputs aren't correct. Oh, okay. It's. I probably meant to. I think I know what I did. I think I forgot to enable the mouse support. That will do it. Not enabling mouse support on a game that needs mouse is kind of bad. Let's try again. But yeah, all this is done with the MAME artwork system. So now I actually now I should be able to hit things. Maybe if I actually define a button. There we go. That's better. See, I can shoot them. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not stealing energy. It does become a bit easy when you've not actually got to aim a gun. Yes, I did. I just forgot to enable mouse on the command line, which is why I couldn't shoot anything. Which is kind of odd because it still shows you the cursor, even though, you know. Yeah, now I should be able to hit things. But yeah, this is kind of neat because this is, say, it's a non-video game. I mean, I can let them steal it a little bit, but not having it all. Not quite a shoot 'em up, but I am shooting things with the mouse. I won.
No, I give up.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's showtime!
So you can't shoot now, can you? No, this is just an animation.
Oh no!
Let's fight it out in the professional course next.
So yeah, I can put it on hard. It's on hard. Yeah, the graphics are made with the primitives, just circles and squares. This isn't even using the SVG support that was done for Game & Watch. This is literally just your primitive graphics, I believe. Shall I be kind? Yeah, you can come get some. There you go. Oh, no. I'm not taking them away, but... You're tired, are you?
Go! And do it again!
Okay!
What does the mechanical device use here? I think it's just a light sensor on each of the enemies and a gun that fires light or something. I don't know. Or, I'm not sure. I don't know the actual technical side of the hardware. But yeah, I should really concentrate. I lost.
We won! We got energy!
We made it!
I mean, if you have a look at videos of the real thing,
Bye-bye!
you probably get an idea of it.
Yeah, yeah!
I'll give it one more credit. I want to beat the hard mode. Yeah, I do really like the, especially when it comes off so well as it has done here. I mean, this is obviously it's a lot easier than playing it on a real thing because you can just click on the enemies. But it's really effective. It looks really good. So I don't think Wacky Data's got quite this level of artwork yet because Wacky Data was done much longer ago. But it could be updated to look similar if it hasn't been.
We're tired!
Go! And do it again!
Okay!
Now, pinball and the like's a bit more of a challenge because you've got to simulate the physical balls and tables, but when it's just things moving along a simple line, you can simulate it quite well.
We're tired!
There you go.
Here we go with the final attack!
Okay!
Nope. It's still pretty tricky.
We won!
Pin MAME is
We got
diverged far too much from the MAME code. I mean, it's based on MAME from about 20 years ago, so there's the code bases are far too different for it to be useful in any way at this point. Yeah, the Japanese version of a lot of these are undumped, Aussie guy. Unfortunately, I mean, it's pretty hard to get your hands on a cabinet to dump this kind of thing, and yeah, I don't know if they'll be dumped or when they'll be dumped. Right, so let's go actually to the PlayStation now. Oh, and I should change my view back to horizontal. The PlayStation's quite loud, so I'll turn it down. Yes, I mean, I emulated that Street Fighter Whack-A-Mole game, Bob. It's one of the ones I worked on some years back. So, yeah, that's got the simple visual layout for the moles too. Done the artwork system. Just they light up when you got to click on them, basically. But that was a fun one to work with actually, because the guy who got the unit was in touch with me and dumping it, and lots of back and forth emails. And I think that one still appears at various events in the UK. Or at least it was meant to. I don't know if those events got cancelled due to the whole COVID thing. But it's around. So this is Harmful Park anyway. Skythink System presents Highbrow Gag and Pure Shooting. So different attacks. Yeah, this is a really good game, Charles. It's probably one of the better known 2D PlayStation shooters, but it's still worth a look. It is a good game, and again, it's one that didn't get an arcade version, surprisingly. Now, I would have thought this would get an arcade port, but no. I'll stick with the regular attack, I think. Probably today or tomorrow, Cow. The next release. It depends if it does get delayed or not. If it gets delayed, it could be a couple of days. But I don't know It looks like it's on track again to me, but so yeah, it's not me putting together the release. Didn't really need to use that there though. I don't really know when some of these attacks are useful. But, yeah, I mean, Magical Chase isn't bad. I mean, Magical Chase I think is a little bit overrated, especially considering the prices people want for it, but it's not a bad game. Not my favourite PC Engine shooter, but not a bad game. I'm also reminded of the theme park parts of Boogie Wings when you've got the big wheel chasing you. But that's just because it's got big wheels. Also, in some ways, a bit of Hack-a-Mecha Fighter, the NMK game we looked at. I think that's just the cute style of it, though. It's a very harmful part, right? Having coffee, or maybe it's a good cup of tea, but it's probably not tea. Looks too harmful, so it's probably coffee. Let's throw custard pies at people, because why not? Yeah, Japan did get a lot of the best PS1 games were Japanese only, which is a shame. I think 2D was just not considered marketable outside of Japan, so a lot of the games didn't make it. Or even shooters in general, they're not a genre that people seem to want outside of Japan. Other than that, Japan got loads of smaller, cheaper PlayStation games as well. Classic collections of arcades, remakes of arcade games. Just things we didn't get. We only got like big budget titles for the most part. Inflatable dinosaur. Hey Mitchell, thank you for joining. Yeah, you are quite late to the party this time. I think we'll be ending after a game or two. But it's always good to see you, so hope you're doing well. I mean, we are we're over 3 hours now, and like I said, I try to keep these about 3 hours long. So we're definitely on the last legs of the stream. Boss destroyed. But yeah, this does have a very arcade-like feel to the presentation. But not an arcade. Horror house. A Halloween level. Go back to the finger attack. Yeah, you can freely switch between the different attack types. There's no nice parallax going on in the background, but the PlayStation wasn't really known for that. But it's a solid visual style even without fancy effects like that. And it's got the rotation effects which kind of make up for the scaling and rotation. Let's keep going. Now I'll probably play a bit more of this level and then move on to one final game maybe. So I don't want to spend too long on it because like I say we are over 3 hours at this point. And again it's one you should probably play for yourself if you've not played it because there's a lot to check out in this one. Yeah, spooky level for a Halloween stream. Potentially. Problem is, I think I have to save state it to start here, otherwise there's a whole not Halloween stream level first. Yeah, this one would work very well on a cab. It doesn't really need that many buttons and does work absolutely fine. With, you know, but it's not even the one that supports the analog stick. It's not a dual shock game. So yeah, you could put this on a cab and it'd play just fine. We've got a very jazzy soundtrack. It's also not the most difficult game, so you know you could give it to maybe a younger player and have it as an introduction to shooters without it being overly challenging. Oh, yes. This is just more of a survive segment, which I failed to do. And then we get to the boss. Now we get to a boss, I think. Is it? I can't remember. Yes. I got lasered. Let's continue. Yeah, keep an eye on where the hands are, basically, because the hands are what shoot the lasers. It's actually quite tricky, this part, at least to me. Keeping an eye on too many things. I don't remember the game structure. I thought that was the boss. Is that not the boss? They probably used it. Probably happens all the time in Japan. So now we have the boss. Okay. I forget. It's like mini bosses and then proper boss and lots of just stuff going on. I can't remember what's what. It's been like about 3 or 4 years since I played this. Don't throw your own head. This music reminds you of Tim Follin. I'm not really getting that from this one. I mean, we had Silver Surfer earlier. But, anyway, Animal Zone. Wait. Maybe there's going to be cows. Maybe I should play this level. There's probably not going to be cows. But I'll play this level a little bit. Honestly, I don't remember half the game. It's been that long. I'm sure that's a zombie from the previous level. Keep my eyes on the screen more like. It's a cow train. Look. There we go. Rocket balls. Yeah. A cow train. I completely forgot was even in the game. With a very brief appearance from a big croc. Where did the train go? I question the layout of the track. I should have turned this game off already. I've been playing it for too long. It's kind of a good one. But yes, there's lots going on. There's too much to possibly remember, is the thing. That's why I don't remember half of it, because it just goes from one thing to another thing to another thing to another thing. So, this is a very harmful park, don't forget that. For some reason I always get the name mixed up. I end up thinking it's called Panic Park when it's called Harmful Park, I don't know why. Right, we've got another turtle. Didn't we really fight a turtle earlier? But, yes. Okay. Whew. Nice zooming effect here, zooming and rotation. Boom. Okay. So, Coaster World. As much as I want to play Coaster World, I will not be playing Coaster World. Right. Shove that in your balloon. Right, where should we go next then? I tell you what, I'm going to do 2 more games, because I don't think they're going to take too long, and then we'll call it. So let's have a look at Twin Eagle, Revenge Joe's Brother, a SETA game from 1988. Very different to Twin Eagle 2, I have to say. In fact, you probably wouldn't even think they were related. This is known for its kind of rocky soundtrack music, and yeah, I don't know about the gameplay, but people seem to remember it for the soundtrack. Kind of looks like little cannon fodder guys down there. But, they're soldiers. I guess they all kind of look like that. Reminder, look at screen. Where the game is. Hit a horse. DCS before DCS was a thing. I think we just add more low quality sound loops, but yeah. Yeah, a lot of people do seem to have fond memories of this just for the music. I think as a game it's not that memorable otherwise. Better than a lot of the Seto games. So, it does run smoothly, unlike say that Arrow Blaster. Bullets aren't too difficult to see. They've gone for that flickering effect, which kind of means you're always going to notice them because they don't blend into anything because they're flickering. Which is effective, even though it does make them look like they're sort of teleporting slightly. You've always got something dropping these power-ups. Which I can use. Nice big boom. Yeah, that makes sense, John. I don't know why the pickup sound is a horse, but oh, got shot down out of the sky. Warning: enemy fighters coming with me up. Combing up. Nice pace to it. Now we've got lyrics. Refuel. Yeah, same. True, Bob. That is still an awful sound effect in Bioshock. I can't believe it does that on the PC, but it really does. But yes, here we go. Let's go back into a level. So, like I say, I'm not going to play this one for too long. So, I played maybe a bit of this level, and then we'll quickly move on. You get the idea. It's a helicopter-based shooter that isn't one of the... not helicopters in space, at least. Not here. It's not Thunder Dragon. It's not Gyrodyne. It's Twin Eagle. The sequel is more interesting maybe for the protection, which controls the direction everything moves in. I'll continue. I'll checkpoint it and I don't know. Yes. I wonder if it's related to Success Joe from Legend of Success Joe. Revenge Joe and Success Joe sound like they could possibly be related. So the sequel is more known for the ability to destroy everything, you know, more. I don't believe I've revenged Joe's brother. No. I've probably blown Joe's brother up with all these excessive number of bombs. His other brother, that is. The scrolling on this is kind of odd in the sense that you move and then it slowly catches up with you until it centres. Which actually works surprisingly well. You would have expected that to work really badly for a shooter, but it's not too bad. Anyway, that was me attempting to revenge Joe's brother unsuccessfully. And for the final game, we're going to play Twin Eagle, Revenge Joe's Brother, on the NES. Because for some reason, a game that is best known for its rock music, sample music, more so than anything else, got a port to the NES. Oh well. We'll play it, we'll see how it is. It seems like a very odd choice to port to. I mean, Mega Drive maybe? SNES maybe? NES? Oh, okay. I mean, obviously even on Mega Drive you wouldn't really get the proper sampled music. But I think the SNES could have probably pulled off something. Unless it did get ported to the SNES, but I've not looked that up. I just saw Twin Eagle, NES. It's like, is that really Twin Eagle? And yes, it's really Twin Eagle for the NES. So, obviously, this is the final game of the stream. So, if anybody wants to hop off without enjoying the rest of this, I don't mind at all. That's absolutely fine. I just thought, you know, we'll tie in. That's not Joe Brother, that's some little red ninja, maybe, on a ship. That's... They ported the flashy bullets, yeah. Didn't quite get the music, did they? Or much else. It doesn't feel like I'm playing the same game at all, to be fair. It's not green enough, it's too blue. I mean, the arcade game is very green and brown. This is very blue and more like I'm playing a 1940 something game. The explosions are grey and blue. So no, I've never played this one before, I'll admit. I just saw it and thought, we'll have a look at it on stream. I'm probably going to run out of continue soon unless I've got infinite. Oh, we get the warning though. Just a warning, no text, just a warning. Bit of an enemy rush, eh? With faster scrolling. I've not seen this in any of those bootleg plug and plays either. Would have thought being a shooter it would be prime material for them. But maybe it uses some mapper that's not well supported on those, I don't know. It is a bit of a big status bar, isn't it? Especially when there's no two-player playing, they could have maybe reduced it a bit, but hostages saved and enemies defeated in this stage. Was Joe's brother amongst them? That map doesn't look like it fits this game. Now it's a bit greener. Or orange, browny, green. You look like you're having a good time, so I shot you. So, little funky dancing alien dude. Anyway, next time it says continue, you're sneaking on the side of the screen there, yeah. I will not be continuing, I will be closing the game and ending the stream. This was ported by Visco, was it? Yeah, it doesn't really feel like anything like the arcade game. And the arcade game is mainly notable for the music, but you could if you hadn't, you know, you couldn't, if you didn't know it was the same game, if you didn't see the title screen, I don't think you would know these games were related in any way whatsoever. It just feels like they slapped the name on a completely different game, to be quite honest. But yes, that was the NES version of Twin Eagle. And that we are now 3 hours 25 into the stream. And the internet's held up quite well this time. I've not had any dropouts, which I was kind of hoping there might be so I could see if it resumed properly. But at the same time, I'm glad there weren't any dropouts because it means the internet's not just decided to go down again. But anyway, thank you to everybody who has been here. And again, thank you to everybody chatting. The suggestions in the chat that I'll probably look at some other time, like another stream for games, and also Bob mentioning an FDS game where the FDS version is glitchy and the regular NES version isn't, which might help with a bit of research and things like that. So yeah, thank you to everybody here, and it's been having a nice chat with you. I have, very Airwolf the Ogre, I thought the same. And again, as I said at the start of the stream, thank you to MAME Fan for the very large donation made via PayPal before the stream started. It always helps to buy drinks and everything else for the stream, and probably buy a bit more than drinks in this case. I'll probably pick up maybe a plug and play unit too if something catches my attention. But yes, thank you to everybody, and I will hopefully see a lot of you next time, because there's been a lot of new faces this time, and that's really good too. I really like to know there are new people here, and hope people have found games they weren't aware of, especially when I'm looking at the Japanese computers, like the X68K. There are a lot of gems in there that are kind of buried. So thank you to everybody, and I will see you another time.